You're listening to The Pete Shepherd Show.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to another edition of The Pete Shepherd Show here on the Coastal Sports Network. I am Pete. It is Thursday, July 25th. How are you? Right out of the gate. She's with us for another day. My Scotty Terrier Char once again made it through the night without incident. She's hanging in there. She is hanging in there. Like I said before I even get into anything, God forbid something happens and I have to run out of here, then I have to run out of here. But thank you, everybody, for the thoughts and prayers. They are working so far. And it is amazing. Man, she a tough son of a gun. She's hanging in there. Anyway, all right, good morning and welcome. We have a lot to get to today. On the Pete Shepherd Show. Angel Martinez, of course, in the house, exec producer, host extraordinaire as well. Only one guest today, comedian Greg Murphy, and he will be in Mexico on a cruise ship. But he assures me that there will be Wi-Fi, unlike last time when he was docked in Texas. And, you know, if you've ever cruised before, they charge you an arm and a leg for Wi-Fi. And even for people that work on the ship like he does, they don't get it for free anyway. But he assured me he would join me at 9:30 today via video from Mexico. Lots to get to today. NFL camps, ACC and Big Ten media days continue. We've got a lot of video today. Great stuff. You're going to hear from Mario Cristobal from Miami. You're going to hear from Billy O'Brien from Boston College. You're going to hear from Manny Diaz. People forget he used to coach at Miami, then was the DC at Penn State, and now he is the new head coach at Duke. So that's interesting. We're going to hear his perspective as well. The new NBA TV deal is out. Oh, before that, UCLA head coach Deshaun Foster. You want to talk about the most awkward thing I have ever heard in my life from a coach, college or pro, to begin an opening press conference. The only thing that was more awkward was when Bill Belichick retired from the Jets with that piece of paper. I'm no longer the HOC or the HC of the NYJ. I mean, just it was that awkward, and we'll get into that as well. The NBA TV deal is out. Minnesota Vikings suffer a major setback. They lose one of their starters in the backfield for the rest of the year. That's Mekhi Blackmon tore his ACL yesterday. And a big story, Angel, that's going to affect everybody in this state. And I didn't know if you knew. I know you have a lot more connections with the high school talent around than I do. But in case you missed it yesterday, Angel, the Department of Education said that nil deals, name and likeness images, will now apply to high school athletes. I don't believe Florida is the first state to do that. I'm not surprised. It's long overdue. You knew it was going to trickle down to college, and I say great, congratulations. And but that goes into effect today. The entire state of Florida, all the kids in high school, for nil, doesn't matter what sport you play, you're allowed to you can name and likeness image, and I have no problem with it. And I've never had a problem with it because I've said all along, I don't care what age you are. If you go on like America's Got Talent or American Idol, or you compete in any of these other non-athletic shows or events, I don't care if it's science or entertainment or drama or play, whatever it is, you get paid, or you have the right to get paid. So if you are a high school athlete, doesn't matter what sport, and we know in the state of Florida where we are, there are some incredible, not just Division I athletes, there are a bunch of between where I area in Fort Myers and where Angel is in Tampa. Just that area alone, not to mention what happens in Lauderdale and IMG Academy and all that stuff. But it's trickled down to the high school level. We heard players, I forget who it was yesterday, Angel, and good morning, Angel. I was listening to somebody yesterday I can't remember who it was, who was recruited. I was on the ACC network. Who was recruited by Miami and then Bobby Bowden called, and he ended up going to Florida State. But guess how old this kid was when he started to be recruited? He was 12. 12. Yeah, I forget the kid's name who was on yesterday. But this is what happens. A lot of these kids in in basketball and football. I'm just going to stick with those two sports for this because they are the two revenue generating sports. Occasionally, college baseball as well, but for the most part, it is football and men's college basketball to a degree, women's college basketball in some state. So this is what happens. So the nil deal going into effect for the entire state, Angel. That's a huge story. I just found out about it this morning. Otherwise, I would have tried to get somebody on to talk about it. But I've got no problem with it at all. Like I said, if you are involved in any other aspect, academia or otherwise, and I don't care if you're 5 years old or still in high 5 to 18 years old, kindergarten to whatever. You might get an acting job. You might be in high school or elementary school or pre. You might get an acting job. You might be doing commercial. Anything that you can get paid for name, image, and likeness, you should be able to do it, whether you're an actor or an athlete. So I'm happy, or a singer, whatever it is. So I'm glad this went through in Florida because it's long overdue. I thought it would go into effect. I've always said this. As soon as nil went into effect, I said just a matter of time before it trickles down to the high school level and lower.
All right. Well, I will say this much. If it worked in bench warmers, it's going to work for me. I'm going to grab a piece of paper and put I am 12 and I'm going back to high school.
Oh man. So how was your night? How you doing?
Good. We had some just like down your neck of the woods. We get some crazy storms, and then yesterday we had one. It looked like it almost did a U-turn from the back of the house.
I agree. That's what happened over here yesterday too.
It's so weird
because the sun came out for a second, and I'm like, okay, and I know the deal down here. It happens all the time. The only benefit from great storms and crazy weather like that, you get the most awesome rainbows down here. Sometimes, I mean, just beautiful, huge, and they last for a while. Although yesterday's didn't. But
yeah, and we get lucky down in Florida because we also get sometimes the double rainbows where that's where they walk outside real quick. Oh, take a picture. Yeah. But it's pretty neat. I still have yet to find the end of the rainbow. I'm looking for that pot of gold. I'm never going to find it.
The end of the rainbow. Or it's funny because people will get on 75, and I'm sure up your way, 75 Route 4. Interstate 4, people will just pull over. I don't think if it's raining and they see giant rainbows, people will pull over and start taking pictures on their cell phone.
Yes, they will.
It's unbelievable. Doesn't really matter. Anyway, thanks everybody for checking us out here at the Pete Shepherd Show on the Coastal Sports Network. Our video platform is freaking awesome. Check us out on Twitter X. Follow me at PeteShep326. On our Facebook at SR1029thegame.com. You can go there. Everything that you want to know about this network is up there. All the shows in apple pie order. We're powered by Ion TV. CSN Florida. Check us out there. Rumble, Spotify, LinkedIn, Twitch, and YouTube. Call or text the show at 727-858-6650. 727-858-6650. That is the number to call. Like I said, Greg Murphy, comedian, will join me later on today at 9:30. Live from his cruise ship in Mexico. All right, Angel. What else have I forgotten? Anything? We'll get to the NBA TV deal, and the only good thing is they're bringing back the old John Tesh song, which, in case you don't know, I will play it for you. Have that video as well. That's a funny story that I think most people know how he wrote that song, but we'll get to that a little bit later on. What have I missed anything, Angel? What's coming up today? We get the Angel Report coming up today on the network. What happened today? I know you're going to have to take the day. You have got some things going on, but what else is happening today? And good morning, Gas Pump Guy. I hope you guys have a good day and show. Thanks, Gas Pump Guy. You too.
Yeah. Good morning, Gas Pump Guy. Today will be at let's see, 3:30 should be the new episode, season 2 of Let's Chat with Cat and Pat. There's been a lot of there's been a lot of people with the first one. It's great though, because the very first one, it's there. Just listen, they both do not hold anything back. If you guys have missed it, it plays on the station and it's absolutely insane, but it's so good because it's insane. So that'll be coming up later on. I believe Q should be back unless he had to travel last night. I didn't get word from him, but we'll find out as the day progresses. He should be back with middays with Q. If not, if he takes his travel day because of the boxing, he will be back come tomorrow for the 12 to 2 show. And let's see, Marshall Time podcast will be on at 2:30. It is Thursday. No night shows this evening. Although last night we had a great night on Talking Hoops with Darius Rice, our new NBA analyst, has joined the network. So he made his appearance last night, now for the third time, but this time officially as part of Coastal Sports Network. So the crew had a good night, good crowd last night. It was a lot of fun, a lot of interaction, and we just thank everybody for downloading the app. If you haven't, please visit sr1029thegame.com, as you guys see on the screen, as I mention every single morning. Visit a website, download the app that is directly from the website. Don't get it from the web store. If you get it from the web store, if you get it from the app or Android store, you're going to get the old one. It is completely redesigned, so you guys can have a lot of interaction. On top of yesterday, I added, when Pete and I were off air yesterday, and then Martinez and company, now it is in the website as well and on the app. So if you missed the show yesterday, then it's pinned up there. And then today's show will be pinned up there. So when you guys miss it, you can go back and watch it directly from the site. So always something new that's going on with the app and the website. And I just try and make it more and more interactive so you guys can have more fun with it.
You're awesome. You make it very simple that even I can do it. I'm pretty technically inclined. You got it. I mean, I'm a lot better than others, right? You'd say, Angel. I mean, I can adapt. I mean, sometimes I need your play-by-play work with me sometimes, but overall, you're way more in the setting stuff. You are way more technically savvy than I will ever be. Rick said, "Can we do sports betting on the app?" Not yet, not on our app, but let me tell you, we're hoping that the Hard Rock Sports app will be part of this. In that case, there will be a link eventually on this app to the Hard Rock app, because you can't. The only place you can sports bet in Florida anyway, Rick. I don't even know if Rick is in Florida.
Yeah.
But Florida, the only legally place you can bet is the Hard Rock Casino app. So, but that's for now. And they do a great job, and we're hoping that they come on board with us as well. This is my unfinished English muffin, and I want to tell you, you get the BOGOs with Thomas's all the time. This is not a Thomas's English muffin.
Right.
I don't know what's happened over the last 5 to 10 years with Thomas's. They suck.
Yeah.
They absolutely suck. They used to be so easy to peel off. That was the whole catch, remember?
Mm-hmm.
This is my little tangent for the day before we get into all the sports stuff. But Thomas's used to be a great English muffin, from the UK, I believe. And they had the nooks and crannies, and they had all the fancy commercials, and you'd see the butter ooze in, and oh, wow. But when you peel them apart, or try to, it's almost impossible without ripping one half. And even if you do it slowly and meticulous about it, I've had it. I won't do it. And it really frustrates me when I would get them a lot, even recently, not anymore, because they're always BOGO, it seems. Now I know why. Because you have to buy 2 for 1. You know why, Angel? Because you mess up one trying to rip open, trying to get it open, so you have to discard, throw it away because it won't toast right. Or there's nothing worse than toasting a Thomas's English muffin in little pieces, because it ripped, because you can't get it. It pisses me off. It's like, just like, how you say don't sweat the little things? Well, that's a little thing. Stuff in the kitchen bothers me. If I'm cooking and because I have everything lined up the way it's supposed to be. I don't want anybody around me when I'm cooking. Nobody. I have utensils set up. I have pots and pans set up. I have my Mirepoix set up. Everything. All my what I want. But nothing bothers me more. Nothing than a horrible English muffin that you cannot cut open from Thomas's. So I encourage you to boycott Thomas's English muffins until they come up with a better system. This one is a sourdough that was also on sale that Peanut Gallery bought last week. A 2 for 1. Oh, it's just tremendous. It opens very nicely. Put a little butter on it, or cream cheese, jelly, whatever you want. Toast perfectly. And I got to tell you, I may not have the types of nooks and crannies that Thomas's have.
Yeah.
If you combine the two, if you combine the nooks and crannies with this English muffin that opens up very nicely, it would be a great English muffin. But instead, you got Thomas's that breaks apart. Yeah, Rick's right. Thomas's no longer promises. Yeah, that was their mantra, right? Your muffin stinks
Yep.
because you
Yep.
can't open it.
There was gas pump guy just and Chara's mom.
Sarah's mom, aka Pete Gallery, says Pete is such a weirdo. Yeah, I'm not a weirdo. I'm a realist. You know, people. I feel I'm misrepresented sometimes because of my sense of humor and somewhat awkwardness, nerdiness, whatever. But it's also nerdiness translate into realism. Wait till you want to talk about nerdiness. We're going to hear from a player from Iowa, the tight end, later today. In fact, probably in a few minutes on video. Now, this is a 20-year-old kid, 19, 20-year-old kid, University of Iowa, big tight end. You know what his hobby is, Angel?
Crocheting?
No, but you're not far away. Legos.
Oh, well.
Legos.
Interesting. Oh, you know what? There was somebody, and I got a Thomas thing as well, but there was somebody was going through rehab. And not rehab as far as drinking, like rehab from an injury. And he said the best thing they got through was actually doing Legos. Like they picked it up. Apparently it was a kid's Lego set.
Yeah.
And they were like, they went to go put it away. And then it went from being put away to all of a sudden building things. And then he started buying more. And then him and his kid would end up doing like all these different sets and stuff. And they said they ended up liking it. But to get back to, and Gas Pump Guy came in with two good questions here. As he says, Pete, I agree. Thomas went downhill, LOL. But he also mentions about TNT. So I have to get back to that question.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. We're going to get to the whole thing.
Well, the one that I actually like is from Aldi. Aldi actually makes some pretty good English muffins, and you can still separate. Yeah, the way you did with Thomas, English muffins, it's nice because all you got to do is put your thumbs in there and separate them. And you're good to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the same one we had. This is a sourdough English muffin, which is delicious. It's only got 1 gram of sugar, and you can get stuff that has lower carbs in it. But if you really look at, we're looking at bread. You know, the bread I get normally is Nature's Own, and it only has 12 grams of carbs per slice. It's not the best tasting bread, but that's okay. I can flavor it up with other ways, but you know. And there's hardly any. There's like 1 gram of sugar in it. Now other breads have more carbs and maybe 2 grams, 3 grams of sugar per slice. But it's fascinating how when you look at the brands and you see the double of carbs that you would have it's really unbelievable. And bagels, despite having not a lot of sugar, some of them, I mean, you're talking about 42 grams of carbs. That's a lot, which is why I very rarely get them, even though I love them. Especially, there's nothing better than a fresh bagel come right out of the the pot. It's nothing like it. Anyway, we digress. Let's get to some sports here, Angela. As I've wasted everybody, I haven't wasted time. I'm informing people. This show is not about just sports. It's about English muffins and food and a whole lot of stuff. And don't forget Chris Landry. Next Tuesday, he will be joining me every Tuesday for now from 7:15 to 7:45. And we got a major sponsor coming on board, which I'm hoping to announce in the next day or two. Inking a big deal, and he's going to be a big part of it. And the product's going to be a big part of it. There will not be Thomas's English muffins unless they want to pay, I don't know, 10 grand a month. That's my thing. 10 grand a month. Angel
and free muffins.
Do I have to? Free muffin. Okay. Free muffins that they slice before they ship them to me. I want special packages of pre-sliced Thomas's English muffins because I don't think people in corporate over there can do it without wrecking one. I'd say I have wrecked about 2 to 3 out of every 10. And I mean going slow, being precise. And then you know what happens? You still do a precise, Angel, on the Thomas's. One comes out like this, and the other one comes out like this. Because the way it's not cut properly, pre-cut. It's outrageous.
It's almost like I know it's kind of a different type of sandwich, even though it's not a sandwich. But I had Wawa and back in Philly, you can buy hot dogs from the warmer.
Oh yeah, same here. Same here. Yeah.
So I end up the one day I was in a rush. this when I was going down to SEPTA headquarters, and I ran in real quick. I'm like, all right, let me grab one, put mustard, ketchup, whatever on there, and a couple other condiments. And then this lady was coming in, and she had her hands full. I don't know, she was bringing stuff back, which I found bizarre at Wawa, but maybe they just kind of screwed up her order. So she's like cursing up a storm coming out of her car. She's grabbing on the stuff and said, listen, I'm just going to hold the door open for you. Don't worry about it. So as I fling the door open, the hot dog was also my right hand. So it goes flying.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, thankfully it didn't hit her. But she looks and started cracking up. She goes, I guess you're having a worse day than I am. I'm like, I'll just go back in there and get another one. But
did they charge you for it?
No, thankfully not, because the girl had, when I opened up the door, she saw that when the lady came back with her order, and she's like, don't worry about it, just grab another one. It's no big deal. I'm like, all right. But yeah, weird, goofy stories sometimes that things that happen.
All right. Speaking of goofy stories, this is very awkward. Not for me. I've never, like I said, I've never seen anything like this. So media days are going on between the ACC and the Big Ten, and we'll get to everything today. I promise. Lots of video to play, and this is unbelievable. I saw this. This happened about 17 hours ago. UCLA, of course, there is no Pac-12 anymore. They're in the Big Ten. This is UCLA head coach Deshaun Foster's opening statement yesterday at Big Ten Media Day. And tell me this is not the most awkward thing you've ever heard. Let's roll, baby.
Coach Foster, welcome to the Big Ten. We'll begin with your opening statement.
How you guys doing? I'm happy to be here. Glad to be a part of this great conference. Finally putting two great emblems together, UCLA and the Big Ten.
Emblems.
We're a school that's won, 123 championships, so this fits us being right in this conference.
Other than softball, not lately.
Football-wise, we're just excited. I'm sure you guys don't know too much about UCLA, but our football program, but we're in LA.
No shit.
It's us and USC.
Get out.
We I'm just basically excited, really. That's it. Any questions?
Yeah, I have several.
In a second.
How'd you get this fucking job? And why is Eric Bieniemy not the head coach? He's the OC. People forget that. He's not with Kansas City anymore. He's the OC. What? I tweeted out to Brett McMurphy yesterday. I was like, what in the wide world of sports was that? Have you ever seen anything like that?
No. The funny part is he has nothing to say for over a minute. Then he says, any questions? What question?
I have one. How'd you get this job?
Oh, my God.
I mean, it's not the most. Go ahead.
I know what campaign he can belong to right now.
That's just so, it's too easy, And when Greg Murphy comes on today, we're gonna play that again before he comes on, because I mean, I'm appalled, I'm shocked, I'm chagrined. I've never seen anything like that by a head coach. His first press conference. Okay, let's play that one more time, Angel, before we go to break. I mean, just really, let's just listen. Just try to comprehend.
Coach Foster, welcome to the Big Ten.
I don't get it.
We'll begin with your opening statement.
How you guys doing?
I don't know.
I'm happy to be here. Glad to be a part of this great conference. Finally putting two great emblems together, UCLA and the Big Ten. We're a school that's won, 123 championships, so this fits us being right in this conference. Football-wise, we're just excited. I'm sure you guys don't know too much about UCLA, but our football program, but we're in LA. It's us and USC. We
hopscotch.
I'm just basically excited, really. That's it. Any questions?
into second.
Holy shit! I mean, that is just. I'm I, I'm confused. I'm confused like him.
I just
Wow. I mean, I know some people have a hard time speaking it. I don't know his path. I know getting in front of, but you got to be a little more composed than that. I mean, a lot of these coaches have side press conferences with their staff, and they sit up and before they come on, and they anticipate the staff will ask questions to the coach, obviously not being taped, but just so they can practice answering all the questions, some hard, some not, especially if there's like a scandal at your school or something like that, or somebody got DUI'd or whatever. They prepare all the coaches for that. This guy, I really don't understand it. And Tony Petitti, the Big Ten commissioner, must be going. I picture him like when George had to move back in with Frankett and Estelle Costanza going, oh my God. I mean, the commissioner of Big Ten must be going, this is what our number 2 market team, number 2 in LA. So I wouldn't mention Stanford or Cal anymore. We know why, because they're in the ACC. Can't have that. But, Washington still is now in the Big Ten, and UCLA and USC. But I'm so glad he clarified the LA part, because otherwise I would have thought he was talking about Louisiana, University of California at Louisiana.
Exactly.
I'm so glad that we now know. Breaking news, McFly. Hello, anybody home? UCLA is in the wonderful city of Los Angeles. Did you know that? Breaking news here on the Coastal Sports Network. UCLA and USC in California. Who the hell knew? Who knew?
Yeah. Wonder if he knows if the Rose Bowl is also in California. That'd be some breaking news.
He calls it the Dandelion Bowl.
Desk Bump guy says, damn, it's like he's lost and confused. Then he follows or dazed and confused. Then he said, you hear the guy in the background. So what's going on at the very beginning when he says it? And then don't they have people writing statements for them or something? They usually do.
Usually the coach will write something down, and obviously not prepared. I mean, yeah, you could say all the fluffy stuff. Yes, it's great to be here. We're excited. He didn't mention any players' names. I would have thought he would have mentioned Eric Bieniemy right out of the gate. And again, that's only part of the press conference. I didn't see the whole thing, and I didn't hear the Q&A afterward because I'll be honest with you. I watched the ACC press conferences yesterday for about 2.5 hours, all of them. So I was focused on that network. I occasionally would flip back to Big Ten watching it, but I watched most of the ACC network yesterday for most of my because as soon as we got off the air, Angel, Mario Cristobal came on. So we're going to have highlights from that as well. Billy O'Brien, I heard in the afternoon. I had great timing yesterday. And then Manny Diaz as well. Former coach at Miami, former DC at Penn State recently, and now is the new head coach of Duke. But we'll hear from all of them and a lot more. Quick break here. Already behind, but that's okay. So between boycotting Thomas's English Muffins and then hearing Coach Foster, whatever that was, as an opening statement, I'm not really sure what that was. But I'm very confused this morning. But we'll unconfuse everybody. Okay, we will unconfuse everybody. After the break, we're going to decompress, decompose, and we'll get back and hear more from what happened at ACC Media Day yesterday. We'll give Mario Cristobal, Billy O'Brien, and Manny Diaz. We'll hear from all three of those guys and a lot more. NFL, lots of NFL campsite news to tell you about as well. As we continue today on to Thursday edition. Do you think Coach Foster knows it's Thursday? Coach Foster, it's Thursday. Tomorrow is Friday. All right, we'll get into that and a whole lot more on a Thursday edition of the Pete Shepherd Show on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi folks, this is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at Moynihan
Ion
Lumber.
Tampa Bay is the latest news, weather, and traffic for Pinellas, Pasco, Ellsboro, Hernando, and surrounding communities. Stay connected on X, Facebook, and their website, iontp.com. Ion Tampa Bay keeps you informed on breaking news as it happens. Southwest Florida's newest game in town. Sports Radio 102.9, the game powered by Ion Tampa Bay. We'll be right back.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey. Why don't you take a minute?
When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can, making sure they're safe and comfortable. But it's just as important that you take some time for yourself. At AARP, we can help with information and useful tips on how you can maintain a healthy life balance, care for your own physical and mental well-being, and manage the challenges of caring for a loved one. Because the better care you take of yourself, the better care you can provide for your loved one.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you.
You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
All right, class. Let's hear what everyone did this weekend. Jill?
Well, I raised my older sister to a big oak tree. It was at least 100 years old. My mom said I must have set a record or something. And then we went down by a stream and perched up on this huge rock and saw all of these little minnows swimming around way below us. And then I rescued my little brother from an evil slug king who was guarding him at the bush fortress. And my sister and I brought him back to our super twig fort for safety. And then we all laid out and told stories until it got dark. And the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Wow. Awesome. Where were you, Jill?
Yeah. We went to the forest. It's not that far away. Anyone want to come this weekend?
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week and find the fun, adventurous you. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Don't spaz out because your team lost. Let Pete do it for you. Now, back to the Pete Shepherd Show.
And welcome back to the Pete Shepherd Show here. Lovely morning here in Southwest Florida. Hope hopefully it's wherever you are. 79 degrees and sunshine most of the day, but we know a little thunder boom boom will be coming at some point. But it's supposed to be a little bit less today. Certainly had our share the last, no question, last couple of days.
By the way, as we are powered by Ion Tampa Bay, visit iontampabay.com. Also follow them on X, and we do have some breaking news from the roadway.
Breaking news!
The Skyway Bridge crash reported northbound I-275 on the Manatee County side of the bridge. Fire rescue en route. That was as of
How
10
far up?
minutes ago.
Hope it wasn't at the top because
No, it looks like just before you start getting onto the platform where they have like the fishing pier towards the right.
Yeah. That is an awesome structure, I got to tell you. But man, I get the willies. I get when I go over it. It's still, especially if I'm juiced up on a couple cups of coffee. You feel like you're going right to the moon.
Yeah,
never gonna stop. And I go to like 45, 50 miles an hour top since I kind of want to enjoy it, but I find out I feel like if I go hit 60. That I'm going to fly off into the stars.
There's a one on 95, and it might be maybe just south of Richmond, Virginia, where they made this ramp, and it's almost the same way. It looks like it's someone designed it like a roller coaster because it goes up what seems like a quarter mile all the way up, and then it just like flats out. So you go up and poop, and then you make the left.
Unbelievable. All right, let's continue with some video coverage here from the ACC network yesterday for ACC yesterday. If we could scroll down, Angel, to ACC football, it's a little on my Twitter page, and let's start with Mario Cristobal talking about Cam Ward, Miami Hurricane head coach, and the new quarterback Cam Ward, who has looked great so far, and the transfer from Washington State. We had a phenomenal last couple of seasons, 73% completion percentage, and whole bunch of touchdowns and very few interceptions. So if we could hear, if you find that, Angel, it's on ACC football.
Cam Ward?
Yep, we're ACC football. It's Mario Cristobal talking about Cam Ward. Yep, that's it. You got it.
El Switcheroo. Here we go.
We believe in Cam Ward, and we believe that Cam Ward will allow Miami to do things that Miami hasn't been able to do in a long, long time. We have complete trust and faith in him and the guys around him. He's a dynamic player, but even more importantly, he's a dynamic human being. Strong leader, raised the right way, unbelievable parents, like the guys beside him. All those sets of parents right there are the reason why those guys are like they are. And I think when you combine that with the talent that he has and the guys around him, it's exciting, but we're not here to make any predictions or projections. We just want to get to work. That's all we want to do. We want to get to work and want to get at it, and we want to and go prove ourselves. We believe in.
Yeah, and he was outstanding yesterday, and there's some really, people want to complain about the ACC network, and there is a difference of the questions being asked during ACC Media Week as opposed to SEC Media Week. And I don't mean in a good way, with all due respect. There's a lot of, I don't know, misinformed. There's a lot of people that are in that room that shouldn't be in that room. And I don't feel that way when it's SEC Media Day. I feel like all the people, whether it be radio and TV, newspaper, digital, whatever it is, I feel like they have a real grasp of these teams and what the conference is about. What I saw yesterday, some of the questions, and I told you, I watched a lot, not just Miami, Boston College, at Duke. I watched a lot. I've watched a lot the last several days of the people in that room during Q&A time with some of these coaches. And it's a lot of laziness. Talk about blank. It's the laziest form of question you can ever say to start an interview with anybody. Hey, Angel, talk about Thomas's, stuff like that. It's just they just don't seem like they have a grasp of a lot of these teams. There's a lot of really fluff, basic questions. There's not really anything overly hard-hitting. Talk about your defense. I can't tell you how many times, Angel, not just Mario Cristobal yesterday and Billy O'Brien and a few others who would say, I really don't understand the question, and they try to be respectful and polite and give some sort of answer.
Right.
Now, I'm the same way. I'm like, I don't understand. I mean, it's not like the Sean Foster awkward, but it's like that. It's like there's always that silence, and you don't get that a lot. When I'm watching SEC Media Day, there's a big difference than watching ACC Media Day. We need more Mita Perrells asking, who know the conference and asking, people that are around the conference all the time, as opposed to some, 20-year-old that's in there on some digital platform that has no idea, you can just tell. You can just tell. The one guy that was good yesterday, and he worked at ESPN Charlotte, but he must very rare, in press conferences and stuff and media days, you're lucky to get the microphone once because the coach is only up there in a short period of time. This guy at one point got three questions, and they were good questions. They were the best questions, and they probably let him go 3 times because the rest of it was all fluff and, Coach, talk about this or that. But that's just an observation on my part. But the Hurricanes, again, we talked about, you talk about Cam Ward, and you talk about getting Martinez, not you, but what they have done, getting Alabama's probably best running back last year, Damian Martinez, came over from Alabama, and I think he averages 6 yards a carry last year as well. So you get just those 2 guys. You get Cam Ward coming out of Washington State, and they have a powerful. Their offensive line, Angel, averages about 331. Huge, gigantic offensive line. So there is going to be that game against Florida coming up on August 31st, where I'm so happy I'm going to be at. I cannot wait to get to that game and to start that season. That is going to be one hell of a game. All right, if we could scroll up right above that, let's go make it easy for you and go to Manny Diaz, his first year as head coach at Duke. If you're a Hurricane fan, you know about Manny. I like Manny. Just underachieved, but nevertheless, still a good coach. So here is Manny Diaz yesterday. Crazy.
Look, the best thing we have at Duke is our people. And to keep the nucleus of the team last year together, which we were able to do for the most part, then bringing in staff.
Angel, I can't see it.
The whole key has been keeping David Field.
Okay.
Oh, hit the restart. Hopefully it'll pop in for you here in a second or two.
Yep.
So let me know when you can see it. And then
I see it. Yeah, I see it. I see it now. Yep.
Look, the best thing we have at Duke is our people.
Thank you.
And to keep the nucleus of the team last year together, which we were able to do for the most part, then bringing in staff. The whole key has been keeping David Feely. I mean, David Feely, if you ask all of our players, they believe that he's the key to the success the last couple of years. I saw it firsthand at Miami. So you hear coaches talk all the time. We have to establish a culture in year one. It was already established because your culture is what you do for each other. And what you do in the offseason is what you do in the weight room or in the summertime, what you do on the track or whatever. So I think that put our players at ease. It put, for sure, me at ease, that I knew that what I was getting. And what you find out being at Duke, you spend so much of your time as a coach trying to instill the virtues of hard work, discipline, sacrifice, right? I mean, every coach is going to say that. What you find at Duke is they already have it. Yeah. Look, the best thing we have at Duke is our people.
Yeah. So, yeah, I understand that. He went on and on today, yesterday about, you're getting into Duke, you're already a hard worker, you're basically an A student, that type of thing, blah, 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 blah. All great. Started to praise the academia stuff. You know how I feel about that. I don't care. If you're going to do well in school, you should never turn down, get as much education as you possibly can.
Yep.
In the grand scheme of things, it's about wins and losses on the football field. Nobody says, oh my God, they finished, Duke, wow, they overachieved. They finished 9-3. It must be because they have a team GPA of 3.5. No. And just the opposite. Oh my God, they suck. How did they go 2-10 this season? How did that happen? Well, their GPA fell under 3 as a team. I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to most fans. It really doesn't. I hope when you go to college, you would want to graduate, but we all know for at least a certain percentage, the truth is a little more, realistically. It's not everybody, but it's, the top 2% maybe go on to the NFL. Everybody else should get their degree. They should. But we all know the truth is a little different sometimes, and why kids go to school at certain places now with nil and all that stuff. It got nothing to do with majors or classes or anything else. It's how much money can I make?
Yep.
At this particular institution, if I get a degree out of it, frosting on the cake.
Yep. That's why I graduated from PSU and not Penn State University, from Philly Street University. And I am a genius.
You are a genius. And I graduated at then was the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. Now it is now it's a CSB. I forget what it is, but proud to be on the Wall of Fame over there, which is great. And Dick Robinson is just one of the finest gentlemen I ever met in my life, founder of the school. And he still does, at his age, late 80s, I believe, still does his nostalgic radio show, I believe, from his boat every day. Every Sunday that's broadcast over several radio stations. So it's good. He's great. Dick and Sally Robinson, two of the greatest people I've ever met. Wonderful, wonderful people. I'll never forget when they took me to see Al Martino, a.k.a. Johnny Fontaine from The Godfather, at Mohegan Sun. And we sat right in the front, and place was sold out, and got to meet him. And he wasn't feeling very well that day, but got to meet him and his lovely wife afterwards. And it was just, it was quite the honor to meet, quote unquote, Johnny Fontaine, a.k.a. Al Martino, after they were great. Anyway, all right, let's scroll up again. We told you, I teased the story earlier, just right above that. Interesting hobby from Iowa tight end Luke Leckie. And we'll just let you hear about it. This is from the Big Ten Network.
All right. Let me know when you can see it.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see.
I have another hobby that I'm really interested in asking you about, which is Legos.
Yeah, love Legos.
I mean, I think that is terrific. My 7-year-old son is just like beaming at home, knowing that there is someone who looks like you who also loves Legos.
Yeah, no, that's great. I love Legos. My teammate Steven Stilianos bought me a Lego set after I got injured, and picked that up, and I've kind of ran with it. It's a lot of fun and something relaxing to do in the off season.
What's like the biggest thing that you've built? What have you built?
I built like a Lego Harry Potter castle, just like a 2,600 piece type thing, and then I have the Lego Titanic that is going to be built in a couple of years.
Wow, the Lego Titanic. Are you going to help him on that, or is that?
I think I'm going to let his girlfriend Emma help
Teammates
him on
only.
that.
There are limits as a teammate. I get that. I have another hobby that I'm really interested in asking.
Now, no one ever again, Angel, could call you a nerd or me a nerd. None, ever. I don't want to hear it ever again. This is building the Titanic out of Legos. I told you, great drinking game. Those of you who can. Watch Titanic, whether you like the movie or not. Anytime they say Jack or Rose, you got to take a shot.
Yep. Easiest way to get friggin' plastered. Easiest way.
All right, continuing with from Lego Boy up to Miller Moss. He is the new quarterback for USC, and you might remember him. Remember, Caleb Williams didn't play in the bowl game last year against Louisville. But Miller Moss did, and he had one hell of a game. So here is Miller Moss, the new quarterback for USC.
What was that moment like for you, and what has the journey? How would you describe, for Big Ten fans who are getting to know your story, how would you describe your journey?
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously a very special moment for myself and I think the team. I think after a kind of rough stretch in the back half of the season, it was really positive for us to come together throughout that bowl prep and in preparation for that game and ultimately come out of that game with a win. I think it was really positive for us, not only for that individual moment, but going into the next offseason. And I think when it comes to my journey, it's been an interesting one. Like you said, it's somewhat of an anomaly within college football this day, given the transfer portal and NIL and that landscape. But I truly have a ton of love for this university. I have a ton of love for the staff and obviously a ton of love for the players in the locker room, and I'm completely committed to them. So, yeah, I love this place, and I'm hopefully going to deliver a lot more wins this year.
Yeah, no, I think Trojan fans are fired up. And
now, remember, UCLA coach Deshaun Foster earlier today, in his awkwardness, did reveal breaking news to us that not only is UCLA in Los Angeles, but also the Trojans of Southern California, hence USC. So that news was broken on this show, which I'm sure is going to go viral over the next several minutes at least. So remember that UCLA and USC both in Los Angeles. Can you believe it?
I was just about to ask the same question, right? Because I lost it since the beginning of the show where he told us exactly where it was. I feel bad for him because it is, in a way, it is kind of tough when you go into a presser and there's things you probably want to say, but it's the opening statement that everybody's going to remember.
It's the easiest press conference you're going to have. Hello,
Yep.
I'm glad to be here. I've mentioned some players, mentioned some coaches. You can make it brief. You don't have to brevity. You don't have to go into any great detail. Maybe you thank the AD. Maybe you thank Eric Bieniemy. Maybe you talk about how we are progressing as a team. I'm looking forward to being in the Big Ten. I mean, it started off with matching emblems. I mean, come on. I just never seen anything like it. All right. After the top of the hour, we're going to get to some NFL stuff. But right now, we're going to get into, if we could play the next one up from Clutch Points. The NBA has announced, we'll get to the deal, all the details in a second. But first and foremost, the NBA on NBC theme song is coming back, Round Ball Rock, which was written by John Tesh. And if you don't know that story, it's kind of funny how he called himself on the answering machine because he got a tune in his head and said da 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 da, and then whatever, and then reminded himself. It's a very funny story. He tells it all the time. But yeah, so the great John Tesh, composer, very much like David Foster in a lot of ways. But John Tesh, in case you don't know, wrote the Round Ball Rock song. So here it is. Let's get a little sample of it here on the Pete Shepherd Show. This is coming back. I can't see it. Sorry.
That's all right. Give it a second.
I will.
And they'll pop in there.
I love when it pops in.
There's a...
Okay, there we go. Goosebumps, baby angel. It gives me goosebumps every time I hear that. And when you watch him, who's just fantastic. I mean, you watch any group, I don't care who it is, heavy metal, regular rock, whatever it is. Sometimes when you get a full orchestra behind you, I get goosebumps. Blows me away. But that's the one good thing about this deal. Everything else I don't like about it. Not the announcers; they're going to be fine. It's just that you feel bad for our friends at TNT. But the John Tesh song there, Round Ball Rock, coming back, Angel. That's goosebumpish.
Yep. Let's see, because I want to get back to when Gas Pump Guy made his question about TNT.
Get into the deal right now.
Yep, where he says, so Angel, to pick up from yesterday, now that TNT show is no longer, do you think we will see Shaq and the rest of the crew somewhere else besides Chuck? He's retiring.
Yeah. Well, I think Shaq definitely. Ernie's not going to go anywhere. Ernie's staying on with TNT. He's going to do hosting other sporting events and stuff like that. Shaq, I think you might see Shaq. I'm sure, if not on this, NBA TV still has their show as well. He's been on. All the guys from TNT have made appearances on the NBA TV studio show from time to time. All of them. Every one of them, except for Ernie, but everybody else, Kenny the Jet, Smith, Shaq, Chuck, they've all been on the NBA TV pregame show before. That is nothing like what TNT did. So yesterday, the NBA signed its 11-year media rights deal with Disney, NBC, and Amazon Prime Video, saying it was not accepting Warner Brothers Discovery's $1.8 billion per year offer to continue its longtime relationship with the league. The media rights deal was approved by the League Board of Governors last week. Will bring the league about $76 billion over those 11 years. WBD had 5 days to match a part of those deals and said it was exercising its right to do so, but its offer was not considered a true match by the NBA. So that means the 2024-25 season will be the last for TNT. So this year will be on TNT after nearly a 4-decade run, almost 40 years. Though not long after the NBA signing announced, WB said, it, quote, appropriate action, and said it believes the NBA has to accept its offer. But there it is in a nutshell. Mike Tirico is going to be the main voice of the NBA, the new NBA agreement. TNT said it continues looking forward to the coming season, including our iconic Inside the NBA show. So under the new deal, Amazon Prime Video will carry games on Friday nights, select Saturday afternoons, and Thursday night doubleheaders. That will begin after the conclusion of Prime Video's Thursday night football schedule. So we're talking, January. Prime Video will also take over NBA League Pass package from WBD. Now that's interesting. We all have Amazon, but we're going to have to pay extra for the NBA package? Probably, because that's how I get the MLB package. I get it through Amazon. Warner Brothers Discovery's most recent proposal did not match the terms of Amazon Prime Video's offer, and therefore we have entered into a long-term arrangement with Amazon. That's what the NBA said yesterday. Among other, the new package on Amazon also includes at least one game on Black Friday and the quarterfinals, semifinals, and championship game of the league's in-season tournament, the NBA Cup, which nobody gives a crap about except for the stupid LA Lakers. ESPN and ABC will keep the league's top package, which includes the NBA Finals. ABC has carried the finals for the last 21 years, since 2003. ESPN and ABC will combine for nearly 100 games during the regular season. More than 20 games will air on ABC, mainly on Saturday nights and Sunday afternoons, while ESPN will have up to 60 games, mostly on Wednesday night with some Friday games. ABC and ESPN will also combine for 5 games on Christmas Day and have exclusive national coverage of the final day of the regular season. And during the playoffs, ESPN and ABC will have approximately 18 games in the first 2 rounds each year, and one of the 2 conference finals in all but 1 year of the agreement. And then shortly after the NBA's announcement, the WNBA announced its own 11-year media rights partnership with Disney, Amazon Prime, and NBC, under which the league will receive about $200 million a year. That's according to Alexa Filippo. Thank you, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, for that. So there is your update as far as all of that goes. But status quo for this year, but these guys are all going to be missed. Guys are all going to be missed.
I wish they weren't going away, but again, I understand. It comes down once again, as you mentioned a bunch yesterday. Was a lot of this stuff is about money. That's what they're going to make.
It's all about money. It's all about money. And
just like the WNBA, that media deal. Now they got a bigger push to get more money into it, but because I think the average was like 60 million. Now they're pushing them up to 200 million.
Yep.
And listen, and year after year, it keeps going up. And this year, jersey sales are through the roof. So it all comes down about money. I just feel bad because that was a good nucleus of guys.
Oh yeah, tremendous, best studio show ever. Nothing, no one or nothing was ever better than that. What they did, the humor, the knowledge, and the chemistry. Nothing will ever beat it. Nothing. All right, another quick break. We're going to do some football and baseball next hour. I need Angel Martinez's help from the Mets-Yankees game last night. It was a very great play that turned into some hysterical dialogue at the end, but I couldn't understand it. Seems like it's very fun and good-natured, but we'll get Angel's take on it. So we'll do some baseball and NFL camp news coming up. Greg Murphy, comedian from Mexico, on his cruise ship, will be joining us at 9:30 this morning. All part of the Pete Shepherd Show today on a Thursday on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Eye on Tampa Bay is the latest news, weather, and traffic for Pinellas. Pinellas, Pasco, Ellsboro, Hernando, and surrounding communities. Stay connected on X, Facebook, and their website, iontp.com. Ion Tampa Bay keeps you informed on breaking news as it happens. Southwest Florida's newest game in town. Sports Radio 102.9, the game powered by Ion Tampa Bay. We'll be right back.
To some people, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much. But that's not necessarily true. By 6 months, they're combining vowels and consonants. By 9 months, they're trying out different kinds of sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on some meaning. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Early screening and intervention can make a lifetime of difference and unlock a world of possibilities. Take the first step at autismspeaks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
The following is made possible by Dad.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling all over it.
The dad joke. Corny, grown-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
Why do you have to be careful when it's raining cats and dogs? Because you might step in a poodle.
And kids that spend more time with their dads grow up to be smarter, more successful.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding.
And with any luck, funnier adults.
Why didn't the skeleton go to the dance? Because he didn't have anybody to go with.
Dad jokes rule. So take a moment to make a moment and give your kid a laugh. It's as easy as going to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
That's really funny.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
The Pete Shepherd Show. It's fun for the whole family, if it's dysfunctional.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 already. The Pete Shepherd Show here on the Coastal Sports Network. Angel Martinez in the house as well. Thanks, everybody, for checking us out across the video platform. On Twitter X, you can follow me at PShep326. Facebook SR1029thegame.com as well. That has everything on there, everything, all the shows in apple pie order. We're powered by Ion TV, CSN Florida. You can check us out there. Rumble, Spotify, LinkedIn, Twitch, and YouTube. Of course, you can all call or text the show, 727-858-6650. Mia O'Brien could not join us today because she is already at Jacksonville's training camp, so she could not join us as well. Rick Horrow, found out yesterday, cannot join us either. He's on a plane to Brussels via Paris on his way to the Olympics, as was Catherine. Everybody's telling me to go screw. Everybody's at the Olympics.
Except for us.
Au revoir. Anyway, yes, Angel, yes, we have an update on I-275, I bet, too.
That, yes. Also, as we're powered by here on Ion Tampa Bay, visit IonTampaBay.com. Don't forget to follow them on X on Facebook at IONTB, IonTampaBay.com for all your news, weather, and traffic. One thing was emergency vehicles in Collier County down by your neck of the woods, I-75 North, ramp exit 107 Pine Ridge Road at County Route 896. The ramp is closed. That was last updated at 7:28 a.m. And still we're waiting for the fire rescue to arrive at I-275 North on the Manatee side of the Skyway, as it still has the 2 lanes blocked, using the shoulder to move the traffic due to the accident. And
yikes.
Yep. Speaking of kind of accident.
Well, Collier County, I mean, that's Naples people. I don't care. I'm kidding. Kidding.
That's it. But
I'm in Lemon Lee County. We're the real people.
I can't believe
I'm only kidding.
As Rick, who works for Southwest, of course, we're Southwest's newest game in town, Southwest Florida's newest game in town. I can't believe the Southwest, before we continue on here with the show, that they went. One thing I loved about Southwest, it was like a herd. When you went in, like basically you had military, folks with disabilities. They were usually the first ones on. And then after that, it was like a free for all. Now they went to assigned seating. So I'm kind of somewhat disappointed with Southwest. It was just fun when it was just a gaggle of folks.
They let military in first. Military and people.
No, yeah, it's
okay.
Yeah, military and people with disabilities are the first 2 to go in, and your seniors, of course. So your first 3, and then after that, it was great because it was like a cow pen. Everybody would go in. They're like, "Oh, I want this seat." Now they have assigned seating. So
yeah, you have to nowadays because first of all, nobody wants the middle seat. I don't know anybody who ever. Although at Southwest, I forget. So there's a 2-3. I forget how but nobody wants a middle seat. No. I like the window seat, not because I can look at the window like a 5-year-old, but because I don't get up to go to the bathroom. I mean, I can go 5-6 hours, have a few cocktails, and watch 2 movies and not get up. So that's why I like the window seat. Other than that, I take the aisle seat, but it is never. It is never. For me, I would never want to be in the middle seat. Rick says too many people in fake wheelchairs and got chaotic. No, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. I flew Allegiant not too long ago when I went to Houston. Remember a few months ago, back in March, out of Punta Gorda to Houston. It's a very short flight. There had to be, Angel, I'm not kidding, at least 30 people with wheelchairs. People that I saw walking around. And I know in Punta Gorda you have to go outside, get on the plane. And it's a bit of a pain. You're in line, but you could tell the ones that were legit and the ones that weren't. So
hello.
Yep.
What was that?
That was the voice from beyond. It is Gas Pump Guy.
Oh, okay. Oh, on the phone?
Yes.
Oh, that's great. So that means it's working.
Yeah. So Gas Pump Guy, can you hear us?
Gas Pump Guy, good morning. How are you?
He says hello and he goes away. Hang on. Let's get him back on here again. Hello, Gas Pump Guy.
Hello.
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 Lehigh, hello.
Hang on. Let me see if I give him a little ring back here because he should have came through. So give me a second.
I heard him say hello.
I know, and we're saying hello back to him. That's okay. He'll pick up now. Gas Pump Guy.
Hello.
Hello. Gas Pump
Hello.
Guy.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear us? Hang on. Well, let me do the magic.
This is a problem.
Hang on, Gas Pump Guy.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you're doing that real quick, Angel. For the best articles and audio, there's only one source that provides everything you need 365 days a year to satisfy your sports crave. It's Total Sports Prep. The staff combs through the best articles and audio so you don't have to. Sports and non-sports kicker stories will leave you laughing all day long. To get your free trial of Total Sports Prep, contact them at info@sportsbroadcastingcoach.com. That's info@sportsbroadcastingcoach.com. Total Sports Prep, the name says it all. All right, Gaspon Kai, are you there? Good morning, if you
No,
are.
hang on. Not yet. I just sent him a message telling him I'm rebooting.
Processing.
Just to make sure, because I want to make sure that it all sounds and is good, as it should.
Processing.
Exactly.
Red Sox report, by the way, coming up at 8:15. Also a Major League rundown after that. And I will need Angel Martinez's help on a translation that happened between a couple of Mets players. Funny stuff. And even funnier that the Yankees continued to lose, as they did again yesterday. Got clobbered 12-3. However, I cannot talk since the Denver Broncos beat my Patriots yesterday 20-7. Oh, I'm sorry. It was a baseball score.
Gas pump guy, can you hear us? And he hung up. Please, Louise.
Well, that's
we're trying.
Hello?
Gas pump guy, can you hear us?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
Obviously not. All right, well, let's scrap that for now. Because that's the one thing we've had a problem with is gas pump guy, can you hear us? Testing.
No.
All right. So that's the problem. It's a little glitch we have to. I'm going to work on that today. Getting that's the only glitch we have is that the
that's pretty much
number to call. You can text, but the number to call in for some reason we can't get it to. We can't get a two-way going or a three-way going. Not in that way, you pervs. All right. Angel, if I may, I'm going to have you get to MLB sound, particularly start with Colorado and the Red Sox yesterday. This was an embarrassing, horrible loss. Now, Alex Cora got a 3-year contract, so we're going to do the Red Sox report coming up here now and then do an MLB rundown. But let's see. So let me know when you get to that, Angel. And the Red Sox report is brought to you by Moynihan Lumber. Check out their complete line of Andersen windows and doors at any of their 3 locations in Beverly and North Reading, Massachusetts, and also Plaistow, New Hampshire. So let me know yesterday, or let me know, Angel, when you get there to Total Sports Prep. And we will start with the Red Sox report, obviously. And we'll get into some other stuff as well. If you're there, Angel, I want to start with cut number 4 with Ezequiel Tovar. Tovar got it going early for the Rockies. Ezequiel Tovar in the bottom of the first inning.
This ball lifted high and deep left field. Take a good look. You won't see it for long. Home run number 17. What a wonderful start for the Rockies at number 14.
412 feet. They kept trying to throw that curveball, and finally he hung one to Ezequiel.
That was Charlie-esque in that. How many times has he started a ball game with a home run?
Yeah, it got much worse. They scored 3 in the top of the first. Let's head to the cut below that. In the bottom of the third inning, Jacob Stallings continues the home run derby for the Rockies yesterday against the Red Sox.
Stallings drives this ball high and deep left field. It's got a chance to fly, and it does. 3-run home run, Jacob Stallings, and the Rockies have 8 on the board. Number 5 this year for Stallings.
Well, both home runs, Pavetta's given up, been on the sweeper type pitch, and for Jacob, he goes down and gets this. It's at 385 feet.
Yes, he does. Then in the top of the fourth, if we go to cut number 2, a little, yesterday we talked about the anniversary of Jason Varitek and Alex Rodriguez. Well, there's a little brouhaha that happened yesterday as well in the top of the 4th inning.
Factor 80 of 199 of O'Neal Cruz.
Well, good job by Cal Quantrill to limit the damage. Yeah, what's going on? Stallings and Quantrill. And both benches are empty. Reese McGuire took issue with Cal Quantrill.
So they started jawing.
Somebody's yelling at Bud Black. Nick Pavetta's yelling at Bud Black. Jarren Duran's now yelling too. A bunch of Red Sox guys. Alex Cora is getting hot. Pavetta, out of all the groups, is yelling the most.
All right, Angela, we can cut it from there. You get the general idea. There was a lot of pushing and shoving. There really wasn't much. I'll give you Quantrill's video a little bit later on in the show. Last cut, Brenton Doyle, right below that, Angel. Bottom of the 6th inning. Put the Broncos up for good.
High fly ball, deep left field, way back. Take a good look. You won't see it for long. How about a grand slam for Brett Doyle? First of his career.
It was a tiny 5 RBI day.
It's 51 ribbies, and he tied his close friend Ezekiel Tovar for the home run lead with 17. Zeke had it for about 5 innings.
Final score, Colorado 20, the Red Sox 7. Brenton Doyle's first career grand slam, one of 4 home runs by Colorado. The Rockies tied a franchise record for runs, 20-7 thumping over the Red Sox on Wednesday afternoon. As you heard, Ezekiel Tovar homered, singled twice, extended his hitting streak to 11 with his homer in the first. Jacob Stallings also homered. Brendan Rodgers had 4 hits. Chris Bryant singled 3 times. The Rockies and a partridge in a pear tree. Cal Quantrill improved to 7-7, tossed 6 solid innings. There's some history there that he has with the Red Sox in the past when he was with the Indians. I'll try to get to that, play that video. And then following the game, the Red Sox announced that manager Alex Cora agreed to a 3-year contract extension through the 2027 season. Boston had a season-high 4 errors, 6 unearned runs. So even when you take away the 6 unearned runs, they still got pounded 13-7. But not their best day, their worst game, maybe arguably their worst game of the season, certainly in the second half of the season, where they have started off a miserable 1-5, and they're a game and a half now behind the Royals for that final playoff spot. Up next, Red Sox are off today. Brian Bayo, who's 10-5 with a 5.27 ERA, which is deceiving. He's pitched much better than that. Opened a 3-game home series against the Yankees on Friday night. And left-handed pitcher Kyle Freeland begins a 10-game road trip for the Rockies against San Fran on Friday night as well. So there is your Red Sox report, brought to you as always by our friends at Moynihan Lumber. Check out their complete line of Andersen windows and doors at any of their 3 locations in Beverly and North Reading, Massachusetts, and Plastow, New Hampshire. Now, moving along to some of the other highlights. And where is it? Here we go. Speaking of getting pounded, the Yankees got pounded again by the Mets yesterday. And if we could scroll down, Angel, and it's on my Twitter account, Emma B. Oh, my God. A mic'd up Jose Iglesias turns the double play with a lot of flair. Let me know when you have that. And then listen closely, Angel. We'll play it a couple times. I want you to get the trend. Yeah, that's it. Because I don't understand. I know they're having a lot of fun.
No, hold on. I don't know why he went to there. What the crap is going on?
It's all right. It's
yeah. Hold on here, because somehow or another it popped out from where I just was.
Okay.
Hang on.
It's under ML. It's under MLB. It says OMG. Yep. Just keep scrolling. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. John Chester's, he wanted to take over the show. I don't know what it was.
All right. Here's what happened yesterday. Here's mic'd up Jose Iglesias.
All right. You see it?
Yep. Yeah, I do.
LeMahieu hard on the ground. Nice play, Vientos. Iglesias. Oh, what a play.
Look at Swaggy V. He's feeling it. How baby?
Oye, caballo.
Oye, los quiero. Thank you, guys. I love you.
Cántame ahí.
Oh, my God. Todo lo malo, échalo para allá. Love you, guys.
Love you. That play was worth it.
What did he say there?
Hey, Horseman. How about that? Horseman.
Really? That's great.
Yep. So Caballo's horse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, the Caballeros in the town. Okay, I get it. Let's play it again. That was kind of fun. That was a great play.
That was
LeMahieu hard on the ground. Nice play, Vientos. Iglesias. Oh, what a play.
Look at Swaggy V. He's feeling it. How baby?
Oye, caballo.
Oye, los quiero. Thank you guys. I love you.
Cántame ahí, cántame ahí.
Oh my God. Todo lo malo échalo para allá.
Yes, it comes.
Love you guys. Love you.
So what's the Google
So yeah, Horseman, sing to me, and that's why he's singing at the very end.
That's fantastic. That's great stuff. Anyway, the Mets clobbered the Yankees yesterday by a score of 12-3. Elsewhere, I'll just go from the top. I'm not going to play a lot of highlights from so Milwaukee over the Cubs 3-2. Texas over the White Sox 10-2. Miami doubled up Baltimore 6-3. San Diego pounded Washington 12-3. Again, as I said, Mets over the Yankees 12-3. Somehow Aaron Boone still has a job. Toronto over Tampa Bay 6-3. Cleveland over Detroit 2-1. Pittsburgh blanks St. Louis 5-0. Cincinnati over Atlanta 9-4. Game 2 was postponed. That was game 1. Minnesota came back and beat your Philadelphia Phillies 5-4 in that one. Also, Arizona over Kansas City helped the Red Sox out 8-6. Colorado clobbers the Red Sox, as I said earlier, 20-7. But Alex Cora gets a 3-year contract extension. Bill Spiros hit that one on the head yesterday. He kind of called it and wrote a column about it yesterday, and he absolutely nailed it. LA nips Seattle by a score of 2-1. Houston over Oakland 8-1 as well. Dodgers lose in San Francisco 8-3. The Giants win there as well.
Gazprom guy, by the way, says, Pete, do you think the Yankees are in a slump or are they on a downward spiral?
Well, both. I mean, can they get out of it? They can, but I mean, yeah, they're in a downward slump. I mean, they've been one of the worst teams in baseball since June. Since the Red Sox beat them in that series, they have been one of the worst teams in baseball since that time. They're 4-6 in their last 10. They've lost to the last 2. They're terrible. Again, the Eastern Division, the American League East, are terrible. They're 18-21. They're still only a game and a half behind Baltimore. And they're 4.5 games up on the Red Sox. So the Red Sox are going to get their shit together here. And they're going to be very careful because Tampa's only 3.5 games behind them. Toronto's totally out of it as well. But no, they definitely have been in a slump. They've been terrible the second half of the year. Let's start with let's get into some NFL news. If I may, Angel, let's go at Total Sports Prep here, if I may. Get some NFL news. We're going to start with, and not just yet, with Miami head coach Mike McDaniel talking about contract negotiations, as always, with Tua Tagovailoa. But this has not been a great week for the Minnesota Vikings, with all due respect to all my neighbors. This has been a horrible week for them. Jordan Addison finally spoke yesterday, his first comment since being arrested for DUI. And then the Vikings yesterday in practice, man, you hate to see this. It happens all the time. It happens in OTAs. It happens. The guy Blackman tore his ACL on day 1 of Vikings camp. He's out for the year. He's out for the year. He played 15 games and started 3 as a rookie last year for the Vikings, also in the mix for that role. He sustained the injury during a 7-on-7 portion of practice yesterday, limped off the field, laying on the ground for more than 5 minutes before walking slowly to the locker room. Then early this month, he had 4th-round cornerback Kyrie Jackson was killed in a car accident in Prince George County in Maryland. The Vikings had high hopes, as most of you know, for Jackson and expected him to compete for a spot in their nickel defense alongside starters Byron Murphy Jr. and Shaquille Griffin. So it has been a disaster on and off the field for the Minnesota Vikings this year. So, man, they're going to have their work cut out for me. Hate to see anybody on the go out with an ACL injury, especially on a 7-on-7 drill. But man, does it happen more? It's incredible how often that it happens. All right, we're going to do some NFL stuff. Now, let's start, if we can, Angel, with Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel. The big topic is, of course, contract negotiations with Tua Tagovailoa. This is from the Dolphins webpage.
Hold on, because there we go.
Okay.
Is Tua Tagovailoa going to practice all periods, or do you guys work something out where he'll do some but not all? What's the plan?
The plan is something that I think there's two parts to it. I think it's important to acknowledge that Tua is in a contract negotiation. That's important to him and the football team. That being said, we communicate very well, and it's very fluid. Like OTAs, and we'll move on from there.
What? What?
It's fluid, like UCLA is in California.
Holy crap! That was just as equally as bad.
And not quite, but whenever he speaks, and I know he said, I feel badly because he had a tough life growing up, like a lot of people did doing sports and in all walks of life. But there's just something about him. Whenever he speaks, I just don't believe him. And I don't believe Miami will ever get to a Super Bowl with this guy as a head coach. I just don't. But they got other bigger fish to fry than getting Tua Tagovailoa, at least Trevor Lawrence type money. All right, let's scroll down. Staying in the great state of Florida here, the Tampa Bay head coach Todd Bowles talking about holdout linebacker Randy Gregory.
We're going to talk about the players that's here. He's not here. We'll deal with that internally. And obviously, he's on the did not report list, and we'll go from there.
I mean, do you have any indication, though, if he's going to be here?
I don't speculate on anything.
So that's good. That was Jenna Lane, our friend from ESPN. She covers the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Right below that, let's continue. After that great answer by Todd Bowles, let's go with Buffalo quarterback Josh Allen. No, not Josh Rhines Allen from Jacksonville. This is the original Josh Allen from Buffalo, talking about CFB 25 dynasty team.
I've played a little bit. Yeah. We get a little cheat code. I'm not gonna say, but we got some quick receivers and some quick running backs right now, and a quarterback that can throw the ball over the mountains. So
great, wonderful,
yeah,
wonderful. I still remember one of the biggest glitches ever, not in college football, but one of the biggest glitches ever in Madden, and it was, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago. Matt Prater, who went to Estero High School, not too far from here, when he would go to kick the ball, Angel, I don't know if I told you this before, you know this story. Matt Prater would go to kick the ball for the Lions, and as he was running towards the ball, would shrink into a little tiny person. I mean, like tiny. And then would just and then would float up to the top of the stadium. He would float up to the top of the stadium.
Unbelievable.
It was such a great glitch. And the field goal would never go through either. Funny as hell. Anyway, speaking of, all these great cuts we have, right? You think I'm going to talk about football, right? Wrong. How about this? Here's quarterback Joey Burrow for the Cincinnati Bengals right below that on his new haircut.
Well, BJ said that if I buzzed it and bleached it, he would do it too. So now everybody's got to hold him accountable because he's got to do it in the next week. Is there anything else to it? I got bored. That's about it.
Unbelievable. Well, below that, we finally have some football sound. Joey Burrow actually talking about the upcoming season.
Hey, you grow and learn every year. I know I'm pretty damn good. I have been. Can continue to improve year to year, day to day. And I think that's how you have to approach it. I'm focused on continued improvement, and I'm really happy with the offseason that I have. I'm really happy to have this training camp to continue to hone my skills and improve and, build this team chemistry for this run we're about to go on.
Mm-hmm. Dallas Cowboys, yeah. So I wonder for everybody else. Maybe we get our friend Mike Petraglia on tomorrow from Cincinnati. Mike's crazy enough to dye his hair. I could see him doing that in unison with the team, but he's very professional. Let's right next to that. Dallas Cowboys continue to be in the news, whether it's Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb holdout. This from Sirius XM NFL Radio. This is Mark Dominic on the contract holdout for wide receiver CeeDee Lamb.
The Cowboys really, really want players to show up to camp, and then they like to negotiate. That is really what the Jones family has really thought about, or the way that they look at things is they really would love that to be the way it goes. Come to camp, we'll work on the deal, boom, we'll get the deal done. But as you know, and as we all know, CeeDee Lamb is so important that he just feels like there's going to be a lot more conversation, a lot more positive statements by not being there and not being a distraction when he's there. And I got to be honest, from the club or player perspective, I mean, you're going to get fined either way. The number that we're talking about, I mean, the NFL is going to have to look at the CBA again, and the NFLPA is going to have to agree. But for a player to be fined, $50,000 or whatever dollars a day that they're not there, when you're talking about making $35 million a year, not a big deal. It isn't. It used to feel like it was a lot of money, but now it's like, I mean, to us it is. Like $50,000 a day is ridiculous. If you're on the highway right now driving down the road and you're saying, well, what do I make? Yeah, that's ridiculous money. But we're also talking about paying one of the best players at his position $35 million plus or whatever it's going to be. Same thing when you think about Micah Parsons and what he's going to be. I mean, in terms of the highest paid player, he's got a very strong case to being the highest paid player outside of a quarterback in the National Football League. Micah Parsons does. So it's a really tough spot. It's a great, terrible spot for the Cowboys, meaning, you've got two elite players you got to figure out how to pay. You also have a quarterback that's going into a very expensive last year, and you have a lot of expectations. But, I would rather have those problems than not. That's a good problem to have, is have great players. You got to figure out how to pay them all.
Yeah, but nevertheless, there is chaos. And Angel Martinez, I can see you're trying not to shed a tear because you're so upset that the Cowboy woes are continuing. As the passionate Eagles fan that you are, I know you're all broken up about the confusion that is the Dallas Cowboys. So, show some respect to the Dallas Cowboy fans, please. Don't mock them with your fake tears. I'll do that. Not to be all Stephen A. hatred on Dallas. It's just, I have to laugh. It's just kind of amusing. That's why, and you cannot tell me that this is not going to affect them at some point in the season. I mean, early, and they've got to get this stuff resolved. But as an Eagles fan that you are, Angel, you and your brothers and sisters wearing the green and white, fly Eagles fly, and all that nonsense, you got to be soaring over the Cowboys and doing Eagle poo-poo all over Jerry Jones and that organization.
That's because they can never get it together. And you hear fans talk about it season after. It's funny because the Cowboy fans, you guys, y'all get me in remorse, whatever you guys want to call it. It's every year they cannot get their act together. Hence the reason why, since the VCR was invented, was the last time you see any kind of footage from a Super Bowl. Now, of course, they have more than what the Eagles have, so I can't bust their chops that much. But it's just that these functional front office that is the Dallas Cowboys every single season.
Well, it's not, I mean, they get to the playoffs, can't get out of the one way past the first round. That's
because Green Bay's
past the first round. So, yeah. All right, another quick break. When we come back, we're going to hear about what's going on in Green Bay with Jordan Love. And also, Angel, if we could get it ready from ESPN. Aaron Rodgers finally spoke yesterday about missing minicamp and being fined. And wait to hear these words of wisdom. And then we'll get back to total. If we can punch that video up when we come back out of the break. Just giving you a heads up. It is the Pete Shepard Show. More NFL sound, tons of it from all the training camps going around. And then Greg Murphy, comedian, will join us from his yacht or from his cruise ship that he's working on in Mexico. All part of the Pete Shepard Show right here on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woohoo! Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie. So, wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
You want the best in sports and entertainment?
You got it. Now back to the Pete Shepherd Show.
And welcome back. Pete Shepherd here with you on the Coastal Sports Network. Thanks for checking us out across the video platform at PeteShep326. That's how you follow me on X. Easily, right? On our Facebook page, the SR1029thegame.com. Everything is there. It's just a fantastic webpage. You can listen to the show that way as well. We're powered by Ion Tampa Bay, Ion TV. CSN Florida, check us out there. Rumble, Spotify, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitch. And always can call or text the show, 727-858-6650 at 9:30. Greg Murphy, comedian, will join me from his boat, his cruise ship that he's performing on. Lux Shampoo. I don't know. I can't see what that is.
It's nothing.
Does that mean something?
No, it's nothing. It's sometimes you get some people like to. I mentioned this a while back that some people like to jump on to YouTube, come up with little creative names, and put some creative stuff up there, and so that
okay. I don't know what that is. It looks like either a flame or a piece of corn candy corn, which I hate. I hate candy corn. All right, let's continue before I get crazy again. Let's continue here with our NFL stuff. Lots going on in all these camps. And Aaron Rodgers yesterday finally admitted that he was fined, but he's such a great relationship with the Jets. Here it is. Get your oxygen mask ready from the stinky stuff you're about to hear.
Yeah, I had a great talk with Robert. Obviously, he wanted me to be there, and I knew the consequences if I wasn't going to be there. The reaction is what it is.
Did you get fined?
Yeah.
Do you think Robert needed the 50 mandatory amount? I think it's 50.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I think it might have been a little more than that. I made it a point to be at every OTA. I was at the physical day as a part of the mini camp. Missed the two practices. Had talks with all my teammates about it. I think they understood it was obviously more of an issue outside the building than it was inside the building. Yeah, I had
no, and no. God, is this guy in denial? Now, if you're wondering where he was not in isolation. Again, this all stems back from him missing the 2-day mini camp back in June, mandatory. Because, Angel, there was a scheduling conflict with his planned vacation to Egypt. And there's no residual tension to his relationship with Coach Robert Saleh. Now, he said he was fined by the team. Yes, it was a little more than $50,000 for skipping a couple of days, probably a little over $100,000. But who cares when you're making that kind of money? He doesn't care. This is more about, well, why doesn't he care? His teammates care. Don't let him fool you, because we know the reports that come out of there. They have. Rodgers said he booked the trip a bucket list vacation, he called it, based on the Jets' 2023 offseason schedule, thinking they'd be wrapped up by the first week of June. The thing is, they didn't have a mini camp last year. Saleh gave the team an early vacation because of an early start to training camp due to the Hall of Fame game in Canton, Ohio. Once he realized it was conflict, quote, "I tried to move things around," Rodgers said. "It just didn't happen." Are you serious? You can't rebook your trip to Egypt to go see Sphinxy and the pyramids and King Tut and Cleopatra?
So you have from January at the end of their season, which the end of the season was in September, but that's regardless. So from January through May, you had all that time to basically go to Egypt, but you wait until that. Okay. All right. Gotcha.
It mushroomed into a huge story. Rodgers downplayed the importance of minicamp, basically saying it's a glorified OTA practice. He was a full participant in the OTA practices, which were voluntary. But talk to his wide receivers about that and the leadership. It's a bad look. But good news, Angel, because on Tuesday he came to camp wearing a T-shirt that featured an Egyptian goddess. Maybe it was Isis from the Shazam Isis. Maybe it was Isis from the Shazam Isis Power Hour. Back in the day. She was beautiful. Andrea Thompson.
Yeah.
We should play. Actually, can you punch that up on YouTube? Would you mind doing that?
What was it?
Punch up Isis, Shazam, Isis opening theme song. Not Isis, the terrorist group. This is an actual goddess. And we'll see. Maybe it was her. Maybe he had Isis from the Shazam Isis Superpower Hour back in the day. From the Jets' perspective, ISIS. From the Jets' perspective, the most significant thing is that Rodgers has recovered from Achilles surgery, preparing for his 20th season amid large speculations, where they open up in California against the San Francisco Giants on the road. Will he make it past 4 snaps? Did you find it, Angel, by chance?
See, like everything else, got to,
Okay, sorry. Yeah, take your time. I know I kind of sprung this on you. Now, this is my favorite goddess. Maybe besides Wonder Woman, I guess.
Let's see.
But this is Diana Prince is kind of a fake, but this is maybe he's talking about this.
"Oh, my queen," said the royal sorcerer to Hatshepsut, "with this amulet, you and your descendants are endowed by the goddess Isis with the powers of the animals and the elements. You will soar as the falcon soars, run with the speed of gazelles, and command the elements of sky and earth." 3,000 years later, a young science teacher dug up this lost treasure and found she was heir to the secrets of Isis. And so, unknown to even her closest friends, Rick Mason and Rennie Carroll, she became a dual person. Andrea Thomas, teacher,
Almighty Isis.
And Isis, dedicated foe of evil, defender of the weak, champion of truth and justice.
Oh, she's a pretty lady. See? No, I'd have her on my T-shirt.
Yeah, she is pretty, but again, listen, I know we mentioned this a bunch of times. I know for a lot of folks that are tuning in now, they probably think, "Oh my God, it's so cheesy." But back in the day, that was the top of the line of audiovisual you would get. So it was different, but it's great.
Anytime there was a transformation of people into superheroes was always a fun thing. So yeah, the first it was Shazam, and then Shazam followed by Isis, and then they combined a couple years later the Shazam Isis Superpower Hour. But I think I wonder if he had her Isis, aka Andrea Thompson, her fake name as a teacher on the T-shirt. I don't know. Anyway, just that cracks me up. I don't know why. Stuff like that cracks me up.
I just like everything was always done with one organ. Every show, no matter what it was always done one organ or one synthesizer. That was it.
Yeah, they couldn't because production back then couldn't afford anything.
Sure couldn't.
That was one of the longer intros for a Saturday morning, quote unquote, not cartoon, but obviously because that and Shazam was the only ones that really weren't cartoons because you had Bugs Bunny, Scooby Doo, all these other cartoons. I'm sure that Friends. I mean,
Greatest American Hero. That was
a show though. That was an actual show. Great song, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Believe it or not, I'm walking on air.
Yeah.
Of course, we all remember George Costanza. Believe it or not, George isn't at home. Please leave a message at the beep. I'm not around, or I pick up the phone. Where could I be? Believe it or not, I'm not home. There we go. Congratulations to me. All right, moving on. Speaking of, so that was Adam Rogers somehow turned into ISIS, the superhero, not the terrorist group. Moving along down to where is it? We heard from Joey Burrow and his new haircut. We heard about CeeDee Lamb. And now, right below that, Angel, on page 2, first cut, Kirk Morrison on Sirius XM NFL talks about Jordan Love and about his contract.
The Green Bay Packers knew this was coming, and this is a conversation that I know for sure that they've had about where's the market at, what is the market, and how do they handle it. You said how creative they got with this contract last year. It gave both sides face that if he didn't perform, the Green Bay Packers would have moved on from him and we would have never batted an eye. But because he did perform well, especially the second half of the season, especially because this team made the playoffs, especially because this team won a playoff game and played extremely well in that second playoff game, literally took a touchdown late in the game by the 49ers for the 49ers to move on. Yeah. You could say that we found our guy. He's shown what he has, and remember, the contract is not about what you've done in the past. The contract is what we see you doing. It is about the future. It is what we envision for you. And I think that's the conversation that is being had right now. What does that extension look like? Do they add 3 more years onto this season? Is it 4 more years? And at 50, 55, what do they feel comfortable with a young team? Because they're not paying a lot of money to other players. This was the youngest rosterers in the National Football League. So it's not like they're paying a ton of money to some folks. They have the room to pay. And this is the reason why they did it. But I love where Jordan Love is at right now. And I feel comfortable with the Green Bay Packers getting him the deal that I feel like he's waited, shown that what he can do, and that he deserved.
Sounds like LeBron and part of that. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. We'll see. So that is going to be interesting. And Jordan Love, and again, that is going to affect Tua Tagovailoa. See what kind of money he gets. And maybe he's just waiting it out. Tua is worth at least Trevor Lawrence money because he's got better numbers than Trevor Lawrence does. The more Miami waits, and if this deal gets done, this Jordan Love deal gets done, and God forbid the Dak Prescott deal gets done, which I'm sure Tua is praying for, it's just going to keep the cost for Miami, the Dolphins to keep Tua, it's just going to keep going up and up and up. All right, staying on our total sports prep there, Angel. A couple cuts down from that. Let's go to Jacksonville Jaguars. Speaking of the Jags, Trevor Lawrence and his expectations from the Jags owner and for the team.
Yeah, I mean, it shows the belief that he has in us, and obviously that feels really good as players to have that from the owner and from the organization. And talked to us as a team the other night, and I won't go into everything he said, but just, the expectations are high, and they should be around here, especially when he's putting, his money, his time, all these things behind it and backing it and really putting a lot into it. He has high expectations for us. We have high expectations for ourselves, and we expect to win. And times now, we've kind of been we've been lingering around a little bit the last couple of years, but this is our opportunity, and we need to take advantage of it.
All right, that's Trevor Lawrence. And like I said, I believe, in my opinion, again, staying reasonably healthy, that he will be in the MVP conversation this year. I think he's pissed. He's going to have a breakout year and redeem himself for what happened the second half of last season. I think he's going to be in the MVP conversation. I really believe that. All right, 2 cuts down from there. Let's go to the Chargers. Jim Harbaugh being back day 1 of training camp. This is from the Chargers webpage.
Just the way it feels, feels like New Year's Day, feels like being born. Feels like coming out of the womb, it's like you're in there and it's
Jesus God.
And now you're out, you're born, the lights are on, it's bright, got chaos, people looking at you, people talking at you, and just feels good to have it happen.
Hey, Jim, who cut the umbilical cord?
Yeah.
Justin Herbert? Who cut the umbilical cord? I'm just wondering. Feels like you came out of the womb, Angel, accepting the new head coaching position for the Chargers. Is that so? What was it like at Michigan then?
Was there something in the water or the air yesterday, apparently, with some of these press conferences? Holy craps.
We'll go with Justin Herbert cutting the umbilical cord. Speaking of that, Jim Harbaugh, here's Justin Herbert right there below that, Angel, on being the leader and the umbilical cord cutter for the upcoming season.
Jeez. The amount of work that he's put in has been incredible. So, just all those things, be like a carpenter,
My God.
Hammer a little bit better.
Is that supposed to be Jesus?
The leveler. I don't know, all those things that a quarterback has to do. Just see if he can be better today than he was yesterday, and better tomorrow than he was today. But it's already at the master level.
What the fuck?
I swear, there's I don't know what it was yesterday. There was something.
What?
Carpenter.
Like closed caption doesn't even do it justice. I need Charger close. I don't know, parentheses, like, what are these metaphors he's coming up? Carpenter? I thought he was going to go down the Jesus route. Oh, Jesus was a carpenter, and that's what we feel about Justin Herbert. I don't know. Next cut below that is actually Justin Herbert on being the team's leader, the carpenter, or Sergeant Hulk has said it, Stripes, the big toe.
There you go. Jeez.
Yep, I think experience is the best teacher. Having been through it for 4 years now, we've seen a lot of football. We've seen a lot of defenses, been through a lot of offenses as well. And so we know football. And, I think we've got a great staff, great team. And whenever you have a situation like that, it makes my job so much easier. So to have that comfortability, to know that I've got guys around me, I'm going to do my best to be the best quarterback and leader that this team can.
Now that sounds like a logical explanation. No coming out of the womb, no umbilical cord, no carpenter. Just a pretty good quarterback who needs to step his game up a little bit as well. And I think I expect him to have a hell of a season too under Jim Harbaugh, I think.
Did they take that from the old, was it Kenny Rogers? If I was the carpenter and you were my lady, would you marry me anyway?
Yeah.
Would you have my baby?
Well, how about Paul Anka back in the day? And people remember this song came out in like 75 or 76. It was not the most disrespectful song, but it was called, and I remember singing it. And, when you're a kid, you sing all these lyrics. And, I remember my Aunt Camilla I had this K-Tel record on, all these, songs back in the 70s, a lot of them ballads. I remember her hearing Diana Ross's Love Hangover. She's like, you don't even know what a love hangover is. I'm like, some nights the sweetest hangover. But I remember, what was the song you were just talking about?
If I was the carpenter, you were my lady.
Oh yeah. So again, I had all these KTEL albums out, and you'd have all these songs and be singing them. And Paul Anka had this song out called "Having My Baby," and it's like this is the actual lyric: "Having my baby, what a lovely way of saying how much you love me." Imagine saying that to a woman today. And then you had I forget who sang the song with him. And she comes on and she goes, "Having my baby, I'm a woman in love, and love is what we feel." It's so it's a nice song, but the lyrics are hysterical. Anyway.
Jeez Louise.
All right. Speaking of weird, somebody says, this is from the Raiders webpage, Davante Adams for the Vegas Raiders. Practicing in Costa Mesa as opposed to Las Vegas.
It definitely helps you keep your mind a little bit straighter when you're out here in reasonable weather. I mean, playing around in that 113, 115 that's been going on out there in Vegas, it's been a hot one. So definitely wouldn't be our first one having to deal with it, but this allows us to kind of chill and kind of focus in on just kind of getting right the first few days and keeping a little bit more weight on versus just coming out here shedding a little too much and getting dehydrated.
All right. Meanwhile, if we could scroll down a couple, back to Aaron Rodgers here. Let's hear Aaron Rodgers talking about Garrett Wilson's talent and work ethic.
You mentioned that Garrett, he was talking to us yesterday. He said to prepare for the season, he went back and watched old tape of you and how defenses attacked you. I don't know. Were you aware of that? Are you part of his process? And what does it say about him that he's gone to that extent to research?
Well, the best players are self-motivated, and he's definitely that. Again, I think it's important for him to step into a greater leadership role. The way you cement that is by your work on the field.
Really?
I told him in the meeting yesterday, I think he has the talent and the ability to be the best receiver in the league. I'm biased. I think 17 in Las Vegas has been that for the last 5 or 6 years. You didn't get that by just showing up. You got that by the way you worked. I mean, his level of excellence and his attention to detail in my time in Green Bay was second to none. He just practiced like that all the time. He had a mindset when he stepped on the field of dominating. And that carried over into the games where we used to talk when we're driving to Lambeau Field on the day of the game. It wasn't, are we going to win today? It's how bad are we going to dominate? And I think he has the ability and the confidence and the skill set to have that mindset, but it starts with the way he practices. So he's an animated guy. He's passionate. And I think if he can take that leap, and it's actually not a leap, it's kind of just a little jump, he has a chance to be really, really special.
You can't say Davante Adams.
That was a please get Davante Adams. It's not the first time. He loves Davante Adams. He wants him to be a Jet. There are people on ESPN and NFL Network. They think it is inevitable that he will be a Jet at some point. I'm not sure I'm in that camp yet. But there is, typical Aaron Rodgers asked a question about a teammate and turns it into an orgy love fest for Davante Adams. I mean, unbelievable. And he talks about work ethic. Well, you didn't show up for minicamp. By the way, the cut after this, Angel, everybody's been waiting for it. Yes, the question was asked. It wasn't on the video, but here it is. Aaron Rodgers asked why he took a trip to Egypt the week of mandatory minicamp. This is from SNY Network.
Aaron, why did the trip to Egypt, why did it have to be that week rather than, say, a week later when there were no activities?
Yeah, I originally scheduled it based on the previous year's schedule, which had us out, I believe, by the 9th or 10th. So once I saw the schedule, I was trying to move some things around. It just didn't happen.
What was your fascination?
Oh, I've been a fan for 3 decades, ever since I was in a gifted and talented education class. I don't know if those are paid for or not, but I was in it. We studied mythology from Egypt and Greece, and those are like my top 2 on the bucket list. So back in some of the doldrums of the rehab, I thought it'd be fun to put together a trip with some friends, and we wanted to plan it kind of middle of June. Looked at the previous year's schedule and felt like I was going to be safe.
Considering your participation throughout the spring, were you surprised at the reaction from people that you weren't there those 2 days of mandatory?
Well, it's like I said on Big Cat's podcast, they're OTA days. They happen to be labeled as minicamp. It's not the same as it was in 2005 or 2010. The schedule is an OTA day. It's labeled as minicamp, so you can try and get anybody who hasn't been around to be there. Yeah, I had a great talk with Robert. Obviously, he wanted me to be there, and I knew the consequences if I wasn't going to be there. The reaction is what it is.
Did you get fined?
Yeah.
Let's go back a little bit to where these paid special classes for mythology.
Maybe or maybe not.
Maybe or maybe not. Now, is that high school? Is that Cal? When he went to, I don't think he's taken when he played for the Cal Bears. I don't think he's taking mythology. I mean, I remember doing a mythology project in 6th grade for Mrs. Condi. It was fascinating. I got an A- on it. It was right before I moved from Warwick to Narragansett, Rhode Island. It was the last thing I did. And I was always fascinated myself with mythology. My mother that was like her hobby, astrology and mythology. She really, really loved it. And we would talk about it because it really is interesting. But what is he talking about? Why did he have to throw that in there? Paid classes for him to try to justify his trip, which any travel agent could have rebooked in about 30 seconds. I'm Aaron Rodgers. I can't go to Egypt here. Let me go there. I mean, does anybody believe anything that this guy says? Anything?
I think the more. Now, I'm not going to categorize him with Tom Brady because Tom Brady, for you guys, for the Patriots, it was different because he was a competitor. And because he was a competitor for us Eagles fans, he was annoying. Now, of course, I can deal with him now that he's done. Even when he came to Tampa, because I saw a different light of him, what I saw up there in New England is completely different. But Aaron Rodgers, the more he speaks, I think my brain cells get eliminated one by one because it's useless nonsense. Like, what in the hell is... Anybody can go, don't get me wrong. I don't want people to get frustrated. You can go anywhere you want in life, wherever you want to go. You got a bucket list. That's great. But it's the way he puts it together. So Aaron, why did you take it to the bathroom? Well, I read the article on Forbes.
No, I had a special class on toiletry etiquette, in my 5th grade civics course. All right, we'll continue to crap all over the Jets. We'll continue, and after this break, Angel, we've got some stuff for Robert Saleh. He's got, Hassan Reddick, your guy from Philadelphia who went to the Jets, and said he wouldn't play unless he had a contract. The Jets took him anyway. He still doesn't have a contract. We'll hear what Coach Saleh has to say about that as we continue with our NFL rundown here from mandatory camps on the Pete Shepard Show. Bottom of the hour, Greg Murphy will join us, comedian Greg Murphy. Lots to discuss with him. All part of the Pete Shepard Show today on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Ion Tampa Bay is the latest news, weather, and traffic for Pinellas, Pasco, Ellsboro, Hernando, and surrounding communities. Stay connected on X, Facebook, and their website, IonTP.com. Ion Tampa Bay keeps you informed on breaking news as it happens. Southwest Florida's newest game in town. Sports Radio 102.9, the game powered by Ion Tampa Bay. We'll be right back.
Okay, men. This is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't. Because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
You're listening to The Pete Shepherd Show.
Welcome back. Hour number 3 of the Pete Shepherd Show here on a Thursday, July 25th. Thanks, everybody, for checking out the show on audio and, of course, on our awesome Coastal Sports Network video platform. Follow me at PShep326 on X, Twitter, Facebook, SR1029thegame.com. Everything is up there, all the shows and listed for today and the rest of the week and all that stuff. We're, of course, powered by Ion TV, Tampa Bay, Ion Tampa Bay, Ion TV, CSN Florida, Rumble, Spotify, LinkedIn, Twitch, and YouTube. And you can call and text the show, as always, 727-858-6650. Already, bottom of the hour, we're going to have Greg Murphy, great comedian, who is on cruise. He was in Alaska last week, and now he's in Mexico, and he's just all over the place performing. And what a life he leads. Single guy, travels all over the country on his cruise ship, and does a great job. Angel, how are we doing today? What else? Anything else we need to be updated on today before we get back to crapping on the Jets, which is always a fun thing to do?
That's always fun.
Yeah.
Every single time. Let me take a look here by our friends on Ion Tampa Bay. If there's been any updates to the accidents that had happened in the area.
The Sky Bridge earlier had a bad one.
Yep, they did. Let's see. Updated the one down there in your neck of the woods. The multi-vehicle crash in Collier County on I-75 North beyond exit 107 Pine Ridge Road, County Road 896. The right lane still blocked. So that's the last update was at 8:58. So apparently that's a doozy of a one. Taking a look locally here at I-75. It seems like everything is clear there. And on I-4, that earlier accident is cleared. So the only one that we yet to hear any kind of updates from is the 11275 on north on the Manatee side of the Skyway Bridge. The two lanes are still blocked, and we're waiting for that to be cleared up.
All right. Awesome. Awesome stuff. All right, let's continue doing a lot of NFL today and a lot of other things, having a lot of fun. Let's continue. We move down just a couple there. Jets head coach Robert Saleh addressing Hassan Reddick's absence.
What was your reaction to him not showing up?
It is what it is. That's the business part of it. Just have 89 other guys that we got to prepare.
How much is he missing, though? Like, to not being here for any of it to this point, the OTAs too?
He's a veteran. He's been with multiple teams. He's played multiple positions. He's had success multiple different ways. At this point in his career, I'm sure he knows exactly what he needs to do to prepare himself to play football, and so I'm not overly concerned.
Did he like when he might show up?
No.
Simple. No.
Yes, of course he's concerned. Of course he's concerned. I just don't understand how you bring a guy over knowing he's going to hold out. He told the Eagles he would hold out. So the Jets, what are they going to Jedi mind trick him into doing it? Well, so far it has not worked. Next cut down again. That's from SNY Network. Also from SNY Network, Robert Saleh on Aaron Rodgers.
We spoke to Garrett and Quentin yesterday, and they talked about how Aaron sets the standard here. Just kind of, can you touch on that a little bit and just kind of, how that is, this progression of him setting the standard?
For sure. He's as a quarterback, he is a vocal leader. He's a guy that everybody looks to for leadership on the football field. But Aaron's fantastic. His personality, I've said it before, he's an unbelievable teammate. His wealth of knowledge and his understanding of football, makes him pretty much another coach on the football field. And so when he speaks, our guys listen.
How have you seen the other players just kind of fall in line with that?
I guess you'd be silly not to. The guy's he's one of the more accomplished players in the history of football. And if he has a nugget to give you, if I was a young guy, I'd write it down pretty in my notebook, and I'd remember it for the rest of my life.
Well, I had the problem, Angel. He did give the nugget. It was in hieroglyphics, since he went to Egypt. So that's what happened. And maybe the team just doesn't understand it. I don't know. That's just my theory. All right. Underneath that, Sauce Gardner talks about how Aaron Rodgers has set the standard for the Jets.
So we talked to Quentin and Garrett, and they talked about how Aaron sets the standard here. Just talk about, from your perspective, how has Aaron set the standard for you and some of the rest of your teammates?
Oh man, he definitely does. Just watching him and how he attacked the day. It's just something as little as him just picking different people to just have lunch with, have breakfast with. When he come in the building, just little things like that. It's just how you think like, man, he really a great dude. And football is football. He's been around a while and he's played for another team, and so he know how things should be ran. And he's a leader. When he's in the building, he have a standard, and it's a standard we follow. And it's not just that; his standard aligns with the standard that Coach Saleh has set. So we just all on the same page, and we understand that the best teams are the player-led teams, and Aaron is a true leader.
I wish the follow-up question would be, how is he a true leader if he doesn't show up to mandatory camp because he went on some bullshit trip to Egypt that he could have gone on at any time? But you never hear that. It's just they just fluff this guy up. But I know off the record that people are not happy over there. Meanwhile, Sauce, was asked about being called overrated.
There was an article that came out last week that surveyed people around the league. You were named the third best corner in the league by these anonymous personnel people. I don't know if you saw it, but one of them was not named, but called you overrated, and another one said couple of guys said you're handsy. You have a reputation for being handsy out there. Just to get your thoughts on that stuff.
I mean, everybody is entitled to their own opinion. If it was year one, I probably would be feeling a certain type of way. But if you had to ask literally everybody who they think their favorite corner is, I don't think everybody would say me. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have some people who say I'm probably number 2. Some people say I'm number 3. And I see some people say I wasn't even top 10. And it's just like, that's your opinion. And I can't be mad at you for having an opinion at all. Probably if I was a little bit, like a few years back, I probably would be mad. Like, it was just, I'm just being honest. But now it's one of those things like, of course, I'm a big corner. And the receivers, they know I'm going to get hands on them. Like, that's what I do, especially if I'm pressing. And it's one of those things where it's like, you see it on the internet, it's like, okay. But you still think in the back of your head, like, sheesh, it's like anonymous people saying I'm handsy and overrated more than like the guys that I'm going against. It's reporters that saying that, but I haven't really seen receivers say that themselves. When I go against them top receivers, it's like, hey, you a dog, man. Appreciate it. It was good work. You know what I'm saying? It's just like that. So I got to take that through one ear and out the other one. And I hear an anonymous source say something like that.
You would rank yourself 2?
Who?
You would rank yourself number 2?
No, I wouldn't. I think DJ is the best. Once again, I always say DJ is the best. So I 1A and 1B, me and DJ. You know?
All right, look, I think Sauce Gardner is a great cornerback, and not good. I think he's great. He was great in college at Cincinnati. He's great cornerback. But this stuff about looking at the internet and everything, don't look at the internet. Don't look at it. He says anonymous source. It's not an anonymous source. I forget who said. There's a couple of people have said it. Who cares? I mean, if you let that kind of stuff affect you as a player, because somebody ranks you, this, that, or the other thing, who cares about that stuff? Don't even pay attention to it. Who cares? He's a great cornerback. He's one of the best. He's one of the top 2. I put him top 2, top 3, whatever. Doesn't matter. It's all semantics. He's a great player. And that's me saying this about a Jet. He's a great player. One of the few on that team I have a ton of respect for.
Gas Pump Guy says, I think that the Jets are letting Aaron Rodgers get away with stuff, and I feel he's not a team player and think he will not do well this season, and not because he's on the Jets. I feel he's just ready to retire but doesn't want to, and he also feels like Antoine Winfield Jr. for the Bucs is the best corner in the game right now.
He's one of them, but Sauce Gardner's better. I like Antoine Winfield a lot. He's definitely the top 5. There's no doubt about that. Sauce is really, really good. Now Winfield is really, really good too. We'll see opening night what happens when they go up against one of the best defenses for the Jets on Monday Night Football when they go to San Francisco. All right, let's head to Philadelphia. Head coach Nick Sirianni, good friend of Angel Martinez, on his relationship with Jalen Hurts. This is from 94 WIT.
And judge your relationships on is your personal interactions with people, not any report that comes out. And Jalen and I's relationship is good. It's again, you just can judge it based off of what your personal interactions are. And so when you hear a report like that, you don't put much stock into it because, quite frankly, not everybody sees that. So I'm so excited for him and I to get into our 4th year together. We've done some pretty special things, and I'm really excited for him. He's worked so hard at his game. I'm excited for him to be able to get back out here today and have a good practice today. And just looking forward to continuing to work with him and continue to build on the special things that we've done.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Let's see. Let's continue. Couple cuts down. Pittsburgh head coach Mike Tomlin ready for that question about Russell Wilson and Justin Fields.
Very carefully. You guys think I'm gonna actually back myself into a corner so you guys are going to ask me daily about the rep allocations? In no way. I've been on the job too long for that.
Okay.
All right.
Well, yeah. And maybe we'll get a clearer view come exhibition season, because one of those guys, Russell Wilson, I think, is going to be the guy to start. I think that's been made clear, although I don't agree with it. But nevertheless, both of those guys should see some time in exhibition season. So at least we got that to look forward to see some other starters. Now, we heard Doug Peterson yesterday for the Jaguars say his starters are going to play in game 1 and game 3. Don't know how much or how long, and then they'll take game 2 off. But I thought that was interesting. Meanwhile, one cut after that, the last one will be Russell Wilson on all the talent the Steelers have.
How do you feel about the wide receiver group that you've got, that you're working with?
We got a lot of playmakers. I'm really excited. Obviously, GP is a special player. George Pickens, he's going to do a lot of great things. I mean, just watching the film, training with him, throwing with him, all those things that he can do. I think Calvin Austin's been amazing all offseason. Just watching his speed, his ability to get in and out of routes. Van Jefferson, his diligence. We spent a lot of times with the guys in the offseason throwing and just watching guys like Quez Watkins, Scotty Miller. There's so many guys that are excited for Roman Wilson to see what he can do. Right. I think that a guy who's been a champion in college, one thing to do at the highest level in college, another thing to do in the NFL. And I think he has that mentality of wanting to be that every day. And there's a lot of other guys too. Marquez Callaway's fighting and a lot of other great players. I'm excited about their tight ends. I think we've got a great tight end room. I think Pat Fryermuth is a guy that I've watched over the years, his ability to get in and out, his ability to make catches, contested catches, third downs. I'm excited about that with him. A guy that's, I think a dark horse player, one of the most talented guys, you can play any sport, is Connor Hayward. I just watched him, hang out with us in San Diego and throwing with him and all the back shoulders. We try to push him and catch him on, and he can do it all, man. I just think that this guy's a tremendous football player. I'm excited to see Big Darnell Washington too. He's a guy that's, I don't know how big he is. He looks like he's 6'9". He looks like he should be playing for the USA men's basketball team. But he's just a freak athlete, and so we want to get him the ball too. And there's just a plethora of guys that can make plays. I'm excited for Najee Harris and Jalen too. Those guys kept coming out of the backfield. Those guys running downhill. And it all starts with the offensive line. Those guys up front. I mean, we've had a really good offseason up front. I'm excited about that too. Some of the younger additions too. That those guys got to work for it every day. And so it's all of us together. It's all hands on deck, and we're excited about that.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting, especially a couple names you just mentioned. Let's start with the offensive line for the Steelers. And Zach Frazier is projected to be the starter. He is the rookie out of West Virginia. That's always interesting. That to me is something to watch this year because, getting reps with two quarterbacks, I think Wilson starts the season, but Justin Fields finishes it. And I don't know what kind of leash Russell Wilson's going to be on, but that's tough for a center, a rookie center particularly, trying to gel with that offensive line. And the other guy he mentioned was Roman Wilson, the rookie out of Michigan. And, you probably didn't hear a lot about him last year because J.J. McCarthy was handing the ball off all the time. But he's a really good player. He's very fast, and he's projected to be the slot guy for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that will be really interesting to watch. But remember Zach Frazier, the rookie center, if indeed, because he's projected to be the starter right now for the Steelers offensive line. If they have had an Achilles heel over the last decade, it has been partly due to their offensive line, and it's the center position particularly. So that's something to watch for, Angel. Interesting stuff there as training camp continues.
Yeah. As far as honestly, I'm getting tired of the whole Nick Sirianni relationship with Jalen Hurts. Put the product on the field. Let's see how it's going to work. No one cares at this point about the relationship because we saw the fallout from last season. It's all about put up, shut up at this point for every Eagles fan. So he can start the whole thing again with I planted a sunflower in the garden of the woods and went out there and saw a whale go across the rainbow. I don't give a shit about any of that. On the damn field.
Well, I mean, not all of us can have the disjointed Dallas Cowboys in our division either. No, but you're always going to get the quarterback coach relationship nonsense, all that stuff. And look, it's just a question of where the Eagles have they mentally adjusted from the last 5 games from the end of last season and the postseason. You got to find a way to block all that stuff out. And every year, every year, it's its own separate entity. And we will see the mental toughness of the Eagles in the first few weeks of the season because their schedule, as the AFC East is and the NFC East, because they're playing each other, And the Eagles open up at home against Jordan Love and the Packers. As we know, that is in that's going to be, where the hell is that? That game's and where?
In Brazil.
Oh, in Brazil. That's right. In Brazil. Yes. And then they're home against the Falcons 10 days later, at the Saints, and at Tampa Bay. I still don't believe in Falcons. I still think they stink on defense. And but we'll see. Big test with the Packers coming up. The Falcons, they get them at home, and then at New Orleans and at Tampa Bay, then home against Cleveland. So pretty decent schedule to start the season. So they go, they're 3-2 or 4-1 there. They're looking good. But if they stumble against the Packers or the worst of the case would be losing to the Falcons at home, which I don't see happening if everybody is reasonably healthy.
They're going to stumble against Tampa Bay.
Well, that's going to be really interesting. That's a 1:00 game on Fox, and that they played a few times the last couple of years in the playoffs, and the Eagles had not won. So we will see. Especially last year, have they gotten that game out of their heads from last year? We shall see. Angel, we're going to take a break right here because I don't want to.
Hang on for a second. Yes, from guys. Okay. So, Angel, what do you think the Eagles have to do this season for it to be a successful season? Is it a Super Bowl or nothing? And is it the coach on the hot seat if they don't? Nick Sirianni has been on the hot seat since last season. It hasn't cooled down at all, period, as we'll see how training camp goes along. As far as the Super Bowl for like every team, you want Super Bowl or bust. For the Eagles this season, with what they have, they should be able to make a deep run in the playoffs. I'm not saying necessarily the Super Bowl. I could be biased and say so, but no, we have to see what's going to happen during training camp, who they put on that 54-man roster that makes the most amount of sense, and that all comes down to Nick Sirianni. So he will be on the hot seat until week 15.
Yeah, people are going to know where the Eagles are mentally after the collapse last year. And it would, you say that about any team. All right, Angel, quick break here. And if we can get, because I want Greg Murphy, great comedian, to hear Monsieur Deshaun Foster. In case you missed it, we started the show with it in the 7:00 hour. But I want to let him hear that also when we come back from break, Angel, on my Twitter page from Brett McMurphy. And we'll let Murph hear that and get his thoughts on the most awkward opening statement I have ever heard in my life by a college football coach. It's all part of the Pete Shepard Show. Greg Murphy, comedian, up next from Mexico on his cruise ship right here on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're going to go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Don't spaz out because your team lost. Let Pete do it for you. Now, back to the Pete Shepherd Show.
All right, final segment of the Pete Shepherd Show here on a Thursday. Trying to connect with the great comedian Greg Murphy. He is in Mexico, working as always on a lovely cruise ship. Greg, good morning. Can you hear me, my friend? I can hear you. Can you see me? I can sort of see you, but that's okay. That's okay. Oh, good Lord have mercy. Hey, that's par for the course with some of the cuts we've heard today in college and NFL. Crazy stuff. So where are you and how are you doing? What are you eating? Oh, I'm sorry. I've been to Cozumel. Love Cozumel. I had to take a ferry to get there. Yeah. We'll get to that in a second. Now, I have Angel. Is he able to see Deshaun Foster's cut? Can he? If you punch it up there, can he see that? Okay. All right. I'll set it up for you, Greg. I don't know if you saw this yesterday. Did you see this? UCLA's new head coach, Deshaun Foster. Did you hear about this? Okay, you'll be able to see it. This is the worst opening statement from a Division I head coach that I've ever heard in my life. Mind you, Eric Bieniemy is the offensive coordinator of this UCLA Bruin team. I'll have you listen to this and watch it, and then we will comment on it. It is the most awkward thing ever. Here it is. What about on the video platform? Yeah. Well, all right.
Coach Foster, welcome to the Big Ten. We'll begin with your opening statement.
How you guys doing? I'm happy to be here. Glad to be a part of this great conference. Finally putting two great emblems together, UCLA and the Big Ten. We're a school that's won, 123 championships, so this fits us being right in this conference. Football-wise, we're just excited. I'm sure you guys don't know too much about UCLA, but our football program, but we're in LA. It's us and USC. We I'm just basically excited, really. That's it. Any questions?
In a second.
And he didn't even work at a cruise ship last night. Been there, done that. Yeah. Well, that was the breaking news him establishing that UCLA and USC are both in Los Angeles. I mean, that I didn't know that. We broke that story this morning, Greg, about 7:20. So it's gone viral. You should, now I could see you doing a bit. You play that video in the background, and then you respond. I think that I got that's at least a 15-minute bit for you, and you can relate it to a whole bunch of other people, politicians and entertainers. He talked about the emblem. Oh, it's good emblems. Jesus. It's like, yeah, we've won 113 championships. I'm like, not lately, unless you include the girls softball team, which has last couple of years, not this year, but before. Other than that, what have they won? National champions? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, exactly. Yes, yeah, all the way. Just like in the ACC, there's nothing says ACC like Cal Bears football. It's just and Stanford too. Outstanding. They won a bowl game in 11 years. So ACC, coast to coast. Anyway, so how's everything going with you? Politically wise, I'm sure you have a lot of material over the last. Yeah, I know you're not. Yeah. No, no question. Absolutely no question. All right. What about in the entertainment industry? I've had this conversation with Jerry Thornton before and everything else. I want people who go see Twisters to be automatically jailed for at least 48 hours. It's a disgrace. I just saw the trailer and it made me want to punch the television. Why is it? Go ahead. Unbelievable. Liam Neeson is going to be the new Naked Gun guy? Wow. I mean, he's a terrific actor, but all you can think of it is, I have a certain set of skills. I will find you, and I, man, oh yeah, the new one, the new one's on, yeah, the new one's on Netflix. I haven't watched it yet. I didn't even like Ghostbusters 2, to be honest with you. I certainly didn't watch the women one. And Ghostbusters, the first one, it wasn't I thought it was okay. The Stay Puft Marshmallow guy at the end, or whatever that was funny. But that's not one of my. Yeah, well, I mean, it's my my teenage years too. But I like almost every Bill Murray movie. I mean, it had its moments, but you give me Stripes any day over Ghostbusters. I'll take that movie any day over Ghostbusters. I take Meatballs any day over Ghost. Yep. Yes, I did know. I did know that, and they didn't want. They didn't want to do it. I don't think. Yes. Hmm. Oh, it was. And Sergeant Hulka with the big. There's so many great lines in that movie. And I guess the Aunt Jemima scene when he puts, his girlfriend at the time, the military police girl, when he puts her up on the stove. Apparently, she didn't know what was going to happen. He starts taking out all the tools, the rolling pin, the ice cream scoop, whatever, and just zinging her, trying to turn her on. She had no idea that he was going to do any of that stuff. They just went along with it. Yes. Yes. I know. Absolutely. One of the most enduring motherly slash grandmother figures you could ever think of when I was a kid growing up. That race is the last thing that entered my mind. I wanted to give her a hug, even though I wasn't a big maple syrup guy. Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. Excellent stuff. So how was Alaska? It's 84 today here in Southwest Florida. Probably feels like 90. But yeah, so did you see any whales breach or anything like that? Now what happened in New Hampshire? Did you see that 2 days ago? Well, you know why the whale was pissed, right? About the feeding, and it turns out I guess it was a mother, and her calf was right there as well. So she's sitting there protecting her calf. The captain was stupid. I saw the people respond. Everybody is on my side. Everybody just, this is why you have to be respectful of the sea. And they were. I don't think they were in overly deep water, but you got to respect. If there's a feeding ground there, you don't go in the middle of that, of course, and especially if there's a baby, a calf there, of course, they're going to attack. Yeah, no question. Oh man, let's see what else is going on. What else are what's tickling your fancy in the comedic world about layup stuff? Oh yeah. Oh, there's no question about it. I'm looking forward. In fact, I was going to have a couple of people I was going to have guests on today, and then they told me no. I'm in Paris covering the Olympics, which started yesterday. There was another near soccer riot, right? With was it Uruguay again? I forget who it was, but it's so Morocco. Yeah, because Morocco is that where? Except for the lack of hotels. That's the other thing. People trying to bring the Olympics to Boston. It's just not it's ridiculous. Not even remotely close. Nice idea, unless you want to spread it out among 6 states. Absolutely. All right, I won't keep you too much longer, my friend. I know. So what's your schedule been like on this cruise? Oh, oh my God. Well, yeah. I was going to ask you, were you? I mean, they had such bad weather, horrific. Cat one that hit. It looked worse than that. So you were there when that happened. So where'd you go? So then where'd you go? Wow. Now, what, did you have to Uber there? That must. All right. So you're in Cozumel. What else you got, guys? Is it just Cozumel? And then where? And where are you living now? You still living in Massachusetts? Kind. Oh yeah. Well, oh, Situate. Well, you know what happened there a couple of weeks ago. Did you see the great white? The great white went up to the boat with about a 12-footer with his jaws, literally jaws wide open. Did you see that video in Situate Harbor? Yeah. 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 Especially the South Shore, situated more in on a Cape Cod area. It's really crazy. All right, Murph. Thanks, man. All the best, and we'll do this again soon. Hopefully, we'll get a better video of you. But all the best. Put some clothes on. All right. Take care. All right. Greg Murphy again, joining us from Cozumel on his boat. I'm not sure if any of that even came over, Angel, but I don't know if it came over the app on the audio or the video, whatever. And I don't know if it can be possibly edited later on, but that's why I cut it short. So I wasn't sure.
Yeah, nope, you couldn't hear a thing. Even on the app, you couldn't hear a thing.
Damn it. Got to correct that. Got to correct that. It's because of his phone, you think?
If people use Safari or Microsoft Edge to try to connect instead of Chrome on the browser, it will do that.
You're right. We got to tell people that. I got to make sure I tell people that. Use the damn Chrome browser because Murph is smarter. He's technologically sound enough, so he knows what to do.
Yeah. And I usually send it with instructions and stuff, but there's only so much I can do without.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, we've had a very fun show today. You've been fantastic. You've been outstanding. Nomar's gonna end it here. No Martinez and Company coming up today because you got stuff to do. What else is coming up again on the network before we get out of here?
Q will be traveling. He has to go back to Philly for the boxing playoffs, so he'll be back tomorrow for Middays with Q. Later on, there'll be the new season of Let's Chat with Cat and Pat. That'll be at 3:30 this afternoon. And no live shows this evening because it's Thursday. But yesterday we had a great time on Talking Hoops, and that should be it.
But you can go back. But if you missed it, you can go back and listen to all this stuff. That's all up on SR1029thegame.com, correct?
Yep. Yeah. If you missed it, you can go back there and take a look. The same way if you missed the today's show because you're busy out doing stuff, it'll be posted up there a little bit later on the website as well. And yeah, I think that's pretty much about it for as far as the day.
All right, my man. Great job. We'll be back tomorrow. I'll text you a guest list later on. And we'll have some more fun. Some Friday frolicking we'll have as well. Thanks, everybody, for keeping the thoughts and prayers coming from my lovely Scotty Terry Achara. She, by the grace of God, is still with us. So, fingers crossed that we make it to another day. But thanks, everybody, for all your support and everything else. And I am Pete. I'm back tomorrow at 7 a.m. for the Pete Shepherd Show right here on the Coastal Sports Network. Bye. Bye.